So Vic, I was
3,
on
2,
I was on I was on
Oh,
Facebook, right? And
yeah.
I saw like your PFP done like a bunch of different ways from the Hidden Order.
Damn, on Facebook? I
Yeah,
didn't
on
know it was
Facebook, man.
on
Wait,
Facebook.
my Facebook?
Damn,
No, what?
that's
I don't
crazy.
even have you on Facebook. Who
How
gets
do you
on
have?
Facebook here? I'm the
How's
oldest
that
one
on
here.
Facebook? I didn't think it would get to Facebook.
Wait,
Yo,
That's
what?
weird.
I'm gonna take a pic of it and I'll share
Yeah,
it or
that is a
whatever.
little weird. That is super sus. I did not expect that at all.
And I didn't confront anybody, but I was like, hey, I know the owner of this
It's a
PFP or
very
whatever.
custom. It's a very custom PvP. Like no one
Right.
else could have it. Like it's literally there's only one.
Yeah. And this one had different colors, everything like that. I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we started doing like some very custom ones for some private people that wanted to, do one-on-ones for people.
Yeah. I think that's probably what happened. So I was gonna like try to relate to the person, be like, well, we know people in common. Like, hey, I'm in this space.
Yeah,
I know
and
the
then
Hidden Order. I know
how
the
did they
Hidden Order.
respond? How did they respond?
I
They're
got
like,
go- I got ghosted. I got
oh,
ghosted.
of course they got ghosted.
I was hurt.
They leave you on red, bro.
They left me on red. I can't believe it. Yeah, but
It's
this is like a month back.
yeah, that's funny.
It was a long time ago.
That's super
They right
funny.
clicked and saved you, man.
Yeah,
That's super
yeah.
funny.
I'll have to save it next time.
Definitely.
I'm checking right now. I'm gonna investigate this, and
I
I'm gonna
definitely don't expect much NFT action on Facebook, so
right.
that's funny.
It's kind of crazy, and
Yeah,
it just shows you how early we are, right? It's like if
yeah,
you post something on Facebook, like, "Hey, NFTs, this, that, and the other," your aunt and grandma would be like, "Oh, did you draw this?" And like, "No,
I
I
know.
didn't draw this," but and it's kind of crazy because the general public is not ready,
They're
and
not.
I think Facebook has its training wheels on for sure.
They do.
Is it a used social media anymore or no?
It's used by older folks, from what I know.
Okay.
I mean,
Hey,
I stopped using it personally, but I still have friends that I see like when I go on to say happy birthday because I get the little notification.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh well, I should say happy birthday.
Yeah.
I'll go on, and I go on, and it's like, oh, they still like recently in the last week said something like interesting. Okay, I guess it's
Yeah.
not fully dead.
Not
It's like
quite.
huge in Australia. People, even young people here, still like they use it quite a bit. So it's quite interesting. And I think a lot of people are still obviously they're on Instagram. It's part of Meta and WhatsApp and all that stuff. But yeah, it's pretty big in Australia still, which I'm really surprised about. They use it a ton here, and in South America still, they use it a lot. Young people as well, so pretty interesting.
What time is it where you are?
Right now it's 11:30 in the morning. 11:38 now in the morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So what's tomorrow like? Is it good?
Tomorrow it's the markets are up, crypto's
Okay.
up, everything is recovered.
Oh yeah, we need to stay friends, bro. We need to stay friends. We need to know this.
That's so great. So you don't have the typical stray mate accent.
Yeah, actually, it's the reason is because I'm actually from Canada. I'm Canadian. I moved here
Okay.
5 years ago, so
Dude,
love
that's like
Canada. Yeah, it's very
opposite ends of the spectrum there, I would
yeah,
say.
yeah. So I grew up in Canada. Love Canada, and all my family's there. But like the cold, it gets to you. So I wanted a change of pace, have a more outdoorsy type of lifestyle, and I live by the beach now, essentially. So it's it's very different lifestyle. But no family here, unfortunately. My family dog and all that stuff is over there, so obviously you miss everyone and whatnot. But it is very different. It affects your mood quite a lot. You notice it.
Are they like more relaxed, or do you like have you
They're
that?
pretty, yeah, they're definitely more relaxed here. Like in terms of like when you start a job here, most places will be like 4 weeks vacation right off the bat. Like it would take you years to like accrue that in Canada. Like most places you start with like 2 weeks. That's 10 days. Right here, right off the bat, they're like boom, like 4 weeks vacation. And then you build from there. So in that sense, they're a little bit more laid back. even just like stores like in Canada and in the US as well, because my dad lives in the US. Things over there close like at 9. The mall closes at 9. Here it's done at 5. Like boom, like mall's done. And one day out of the week on Thursdays they extend it till what is it, like 7:30, 8 o'clock? But that's only one day out of the week. So you can
Yeah,
tell in that sense that like they have a more like life balance, work-life balance is a lot better over here. But it gets annoying when you're just like, like I want to go buy this random thing right now, and I can't now. I gotta wait. So, or like banks as well. Like banks are they close at 5, so
do
you
you
have to do
guys
your
get
bank work.
do you
You gotta
guys
be
get a
like,
bunch
hey,
of bank holidays too?
yeah, we have bank holidays as well and all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that when I went to the UK, everything closed super early. There were a bunch of bank holidays, a bunch of like just random holidays that I was just like, man, y'all just get days off to get days off. Like, what the hell?
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty chill. Yeah.
I mean,
It's
yeah, that's
awesome.
cool. You run into, have you seen any like dangerous animals? I mean,
Oh yeah,
we all
not
hear,
like what, like 2 months, about 2 months ago, a guy got eaten, torn up by a shark, like not far away from where, it's like 2 beaches down from where I'm at. And what, like 2 weeks ago, there was a great white at the beach that we usually go to. So yeah, there's like a friendly local like turtle that lives close by. But it's the sharks that kind of like freak me out, like a great white. Those things are like massive, right? So yeah, unfortunately, this guy died on that. Sad
so
story.
what was the catalyst for your move? Was it just a personal preference, or because
Yeah,
that's a
just like
pretty extreme move?
yeah, it is. It's yeah, just to like switch it up, have a different weather, different lifestyle. Yeah, it was just, I don't know, you kind of get bored of like the daily same routine over and over, and you just want to like kind of switch it up. And we were fortunate enough that the Australian government, they had a list of like professions that they want for me and my wife, and we are both on it. So we just like literally we just applied, and then they invite you to see if you can get a permanent residence visa. And we applied, we paid for the fees or whatever, and they're like, come on over. And we're like, oh, I guess we're moving to Australia. So yeah, so it's been pretty good and whatnot. So
Dude,
yeah,
I wish my wife was more like, experimental or risky like that. You know what I mean? Like you mess around, got bored, moved to Australia. Like we
yeah,
mess around, we get bored, and we just call it life. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
you
yeah,
got it. That's good. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like that's a good thing right there.
yeah. We were it was like we were here now 5 6 years almost in September. But yeah, we're pretty young when we did it, so we had nothing really holding us down. We didn't buy a house. We didn't have it. Like we were just like, oh, we had nothing, right? Like just let's get up and go. So yeah, that was a quick decision, and we did it. Yeah, man.
Go ahead, Nick.
And what about you, Vixter over there? What about you? You live in Japan, correct?
Oh, I moved there back in December, so I was there since like 2014. So I was there for like a long ass time. So I have a network there, low key. I spent some of my time like just kind of like grinding, doing the grind, going from like, all right, let's go to Japan, let's be a fucking English teacher. Oh, this sounds like fun. And then grinding from that shit to like, oh, what the fuck? I guess I'm doing stuff in bars now. And then I will do some more grinds and like, oh shit, I guess I'm working for the U.S. Embassy now. It's a Japan is it was an interesting journey for me. And now I'm back in the U.S. and I'm like, oh, it's not the same anymore. So it's definitely a shift, at least for me. Like if I could show you like my little apartment, it's like a bunch of shit everywhere now because I still just don't feel like unpacking some of the boxes I have because I'm planning on moving to another place that's bigger and not in church country because the place I picked out, I'm like surrounded by churches. I don't. It's not that I don't mind churches. It's just literally like some churches literally look like straight up like they look like it's straight out of like some Texas Chainsaw Massacre churches. I was like, oh shoot. And there's some really nice, like, oh, this is a nice, good church, but like it's very, very well made, maintained and stuff. But like you drive by, feel like that's sketchy. I'm like, okay. And Florida people are a different breed. That's all I gotta say. They're very
on a
yeah,
Sunday, since you're around a bunch of churches.
yeah, yeah. On a Sunday, oh my God, traffic is ridiculous. Chick-fil-A is essentially everyone wants Chick-fil-A on Sunday, but you can't find it on Sunday. I
Well,
will say Chick-fil-A is what I miss.
Yeah, no, I live in Georgia, so like just one state up, and yeah, everybody is. I make the mistake sometimes. I'll be like, yeah, man, I'm coming over to your house. I'm gonna go pick up some Chick-fil-A, and I'll realize I'll drive to the Chick-fil-A, and I'm
on
like,
a Sunday.
that's what I do. But yeah, there used to be a law that you couldn't buy alcohol on Sundays, and I think they revoked it because people care more about getting drunk on Sundays than they did their old style of focusing on religion.
Oh yeah, but I love it. It's a good shift. I did some cool, amazing things. The cool thing is I got to do some cool things in Miami during Bitcoin conference 2022. That was dope. And I know there's a bunch of stuff Cardano's planning for Austin. So hopefully you guys are thinking about doing something up there too.
I had no idea about Austin per se. Like I've been too deep in like CNFTs and this, that, and the other, and celebrating and having fun, that I've kind of lost track of everything coming down the pipeline. Can you fill us in?
So much.
Something?
There's so much. I know Martin can speak on it too as well. Hydra is the next big thing for Cardano, right? And they're doing a bunch of CIP updates. And if you guys got a chance to see the Cardano 360 recently, it was about in April, a bunch of cool details got leaked out. Orbis got leaked out. You heard Sebastian come out talk about Milkomeda. I just want to give you all a little clue into Project Catalyst. A lot of Project Catalyst projects or a lot of funding. One of the biggest funding pools is building on Milkomeda. And a lot of people aren't really predicting or thinking about what Milkomeda brings. That's something that I'm super, super bullish on for Cardano, at least. Because if you don't know what Milkomeda brings, it's going to allow bring so much things to Cardano that people weren't expecting. So I'm sure Marty can add more about it if you guys are interested.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, the stuff that's happening on Milkomeda, it's the one thing that I've actually been waiting for quite some time. So for the people that don't know, Milkomeda is a layer 2 solution where you'll be able to actually launch Solidity contracts. So it's going to allow essentially Ethereum dApps to come over and be launched on Cardano's network. So it's a layer 2 solution. So everything happens on that layer, but then everything is actually settled on the main Cardano layer. And I think this is like a really big deal because there is more Solidity developers than there are Haskell and Plutus developers. And it's a big deal. Like it's extremely, extremely important. And the reason I say this is because while they've done a really good job of like making these other languages for it that are supposed to be really good and really secure, when it comes down to it, it's all about the ecosystem. And I've already seen this play out, and you guys have seen it play out as well. When we had like the kind of like the mobile OS wars, it's what has the most amount of like apps that will attract users, and it's the users that then bring the developers. And I saw this with like, I was being Canadian, I was a huge BlackBerry fan, and BlackBerry started the smartphone systems and whatever. They were like the first ones to do it, and then they fell behind. Like iPhone came out and the App Store came out, and they didn't really quite have an App Store in BlackBerry. And then they tried to launch something called BlackBerry 10. I don't know if you guys remember. And BlackBerry 10 was supposed to be like this amazing operating system that they developed. It ran the same like kernel and essentially the same base that you run the software that is in nuclear reactors. It's supposed to be like unhackable, all this crazy, amazing, like the tech was just insane. Like people were like, holy crap, this is amazing. This is the best technology. This is gonna win. And that did not happen at all. Why? Because they couldn't convince people, they couldn't convince developers to bring over their apps, to rewrite them essentially and bring them over. Because it's a lot of overhead, man. Like if you have a certain amount of workers and they're already maintaining this code base for Android and this code base for iPhone, to be like, oh, let me build another one, and on top of that, you don't really have that many users because there's not that many people that have bought the cell phone or whatever. In our case, maybe Cardano's the user base there, it might be lower compared. It is lower compared to like Ethereum's. So they need to do stuff that is going to attract the most amount of developers, which is going to attract the most amount of users, right? And this is what Melcomeda is going to essentially help, which is why the project that we're also building out as well is going to be done in Solidity, and we're going to be launching it on Melcomeda. Just because, again, like there's more developers for Solidity, and if we end up needing to hire people, we're more likely to actually find it. And yeah, like no, like Haskell and all that stuff is good, but I've already seen some projects switch from Cardano to something else because they couldn't find Haskell developers, they couldn't find Plutus developers. And some other projects that I've also heard, some people, for whatever reason, they left the project and then they couldn't find people to replace them. And it was just like, oh, like now you're falling a little bit behind in their schedule to deliver things, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, like it's one of the reasons where we're choosing to launch our project on Melcomeda. It'll be easier to find people. There's already like established programming patterns, et cetera, for the smart contracts. So yeah, like really, really exciting. I think once more people start hearing about Melcomeda, I think more projects from Ethereum will come over, and because you literally just grab the code, you clone it, and you just launch it. So there's no reason why, for example, like Uniswap could be like, hey, like we're launching on the layer 2 of Melcomeda on Cardano, blah blah blah, and then they can like, you know what I mean? Like it's quite simple. They don't need to really change any of the code. So these things are going to be really important to really like blow up the ecosystem in Cardano.
So can you explain to everybody a little bit about your project and how it's going to kind of work and partner with Melcomeda in that way?
Yeah, so what we're building, so our project's called Sweetdao. You can find it at sweetdao.finance. And what we're going to be trying to do is we're building a decentralized exchange. So, and the way we're partnering up with Melcomeda is we're going to be writing the smart contracts again, like in Solidity, and essentially using their network, their layer 2 solution to actually launch and host the smart contracts. So all the transaction and everything will be on Melcomeda. That's the main thing that we'll be using Melcomeda for. So yeah, so it should be pretty good, pretty fun. But yeah, like our main project it's a DEX, and while there are a ton of DEXs out there, whenever I tell people like, hey, we're building a DEX, they're like, oh, like another one, like but I don't really see it as a big deal, because even now, like I see centralized exchanges like popping up all the time. We're still so new, like it's still so early, that projects will, some projects that are already out there, they might shut down, they might fail, they might get hacked. There's always like opportunity. Like it's the churn of projects is really high. So there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't make another DEX, or even like pivot the DEX or your project to try to go after another market. Like for example, what if I just decide like tomorrow that we're gonna target South America? Like, you know what I mean? So it's there's no there should be no nothing impeding you from like creating a project that you want to go after and whatnot, right? So yeah, we're going to be doing a decentralized exchange, but it's going to be very different than what other DEXs are doing and just other projects in general that are going to be launching on Cardano. And do you want me to like kind of explain how our project's a little bit different than
That was actually exactly what I was going to ask you. So
other
perfect.
projects? Yeah, sure. So our main so what makes us different is that like we want to position our the DAO and like DEX, and essentially at the end of it, the token in a different setting than what other projects are currently doing. In particular, like the way our token works and its utility, and importantly, its value, right? So we want each of the token for our project to actually be backed by an asset, like by a basket of assets, right? So what do I mean by that? Like I want each token to be backed by ADA or a stablecoin or a pair of those things, right? Um, right now, I think like there's been so many crashes that people are going to start realizing that it's really, really easy to create a token and give them away and just say, hey, this token has value because I said it has value. People are getting free tokens and they're just dumping them, right? Like they dump them because they know they don't genuinely have like any sort of intrinsic value. Like people get them and they dump them, and then the price crashes, and then people are holding bags. And so I think that whole thing is terrible. And I think we're eventually going to get to a point where people are going to realize these things, and we're going to start moving away from these things, right? So maybe it's in this big crash that we just recently had that people are going to start realizing these things. So by backing our token with ADA or stablecoins, it's going to give so we call it like a sweet token. It's going to give the sweet token like some underlying value, right? So that's one thing. What we're also doing from other from other projects is the way we do fee collection for liquidity providers. So as you guys probably already know, when you provide liquidity to DEXs, because you're providing liquidity, you're also going to be able to collect the service fees for providing that liquidity, right? So we're going to be doing the same thing, but we're going to base the fee sharing on how many sweet tokens you have, like how many sweet tokens a user has. So the amount of tokens that you have is going to be proportionate to how much you can actually collect. So the way it's going to work is like all of the fees that are collected across all the pools are going to be collected into like one pot, and we're going to call it like the candy store, right? And as these fees are collected, you're going to be able to collect the service fees that belong to you because you provided that liquidity. And it's going to be based off of how many sweet tokens you have. So obviously, the more sweet tokens you actually have, the more of a proportion of whatever was collected you're going to be able to actually grab, right? So, and I think doing it this way, it's going to give another way to actually have like value of the actual token, because essentially what the token does is it's going to act like a key, right? It's going to say like you're able to unlock this amount of service fees from this thing, and that belongs to you. So by backing it with actual ADA, so it'll be literally like a 1-for-1 thing. Like we'll have a treasury where one ADA will back, for example, one sweet token, and that's always going to be like that. And also the fact that you can collect service fees based off of how many of these tokens you actually own as well. So I think doing these two things will make our project a little bit different, stand out. But doing these things, it makes our project a lot harder to launch, because it's really easy to just create tokens and be like, hey, here's the mining program, blah, blah, blah. Like, guys, just bring in your liquidity and mine the token, and it's free, and that's it, right? But the thing here is that another reason why we're doing it this way as well is we're gonna this is another part of the project is we're gonna be doing something called bonding. And also another thing is protocol owned liquidity. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to have the protocol own a large portion of the liquidity. And the reason we do that is because of something called mercenary liquidity. So what ends up happening is like we have these really big funds where they go in, they dump a bunch of liquidity into these protocols, they mine the token, they get a bunch of it out, and then they take all the liquidity out, they dump the tokens. It ruins the project, and it also ruins the holders, the believers, the true believers of that project, because they're usually most likely to be like hodlers, right? They want to keep that token. And when you have these big funds doing that, it collapses the price, right? So we want to try to have it in a way where the protocol itself is going to be owning its own liquidity. So yeah, like that's those are the really big concepts on how our DEX / DAO is going to be different than what other DEXs do. Another thing too is that when we start this project, we're gonna give the DAO is gonna own its own token. So it kind of gets a little bit meta, but when by doing this, if like I mentioned before, the amount of service fees that you can collect is proportionate to how much tokens you own, right? If we have the DAO, if the protocol itself owns its own token, it's going to be able to collect service fees for itself. And these service fees will then go into the treasury as protocol owned liquidity. And because for the mining program, to mine the token, you provide liquidity, right? And then you get more sweet tokens. Because the DAO owns its own token and its own liquidity, it's going to mine its own token, which means it's going to increase how many tokens it has itself, which means how it can collect a higher amount of the service fees that it can collect because it's proportionate, right? So on its own, like the goal here is for it to become a self-sustaining business where it's just essentially feeding itself. So that's another thing that is going to be different than what other protocols are doing. But to be honest with you, like the way we're doing it is a little bit harder because we need to, if we want to back each token 1-to-1, it means it has to start off like that. So, and the way we're going to try to do this is we're going to have an NFT sale to raise some funds, and those funds are going to go towards marketing, like really, really, really pushing. Like I want everybody to know about the ISPO that we're going to be holding. The funds raised from the ISPO are going to go directly to the treasury to begin the backing of the actual token itself. So we can start off the mining program will start off with ADA is already in the treasury, and that ADA is already backing whatever is going to be mined when we first start, right? When we start. So that's how we're going to be different than everybody else. All the other projects out there, they are not backing their tokens. They are not doing any of that stuff. They're just saying, hey, we have a token and it's literally a few lines of code and you have a ton of tokens and you can give them away or whatever. And I don't want, like, that's easy. Like, I don't want to do that. I think we're going to start seeing projects do this more and more. And the really, obviously, like it turned into a bit of a shitstorm, but the really big one that has started to do this and people noticed it was Terra. When Terra announced that, hey, we're going to back our stable coin with a big chunk of Bitcoin that we have bought, and we're going to make sure that it stays at its peg using all this Bitcoin that is going to back this value here, right? Obviously that they were attacked or whatever, and that kind of like got ruined. But they did follow that whole kind of like the purpose of the Bitcoin, right? Like they tried to, right when it lost its peg, they had to sell a ton of Bitcoin to try to prop up the peg. So in that sense, like they were doing what they said that they were, right? So I think more and more we'll see projects saying like, hey, like our token is actually backed by actual what we consider to be legitimate assets like ADA, like stable coins. You know what I mean? So yeah, like that's essentially what we're trying to do. So yeah, hopefully that answers how we're different. Do you guys have any questions? I know it's a lot to take. It's taking.
Well, so when dealing with the volatility of the market, especially nowadays, like how do you help prevent like a certain amount of slippage and market
Yes.
volatility?
Right. So the slippage really comes from the amount of of liquidity that's actually available for people to trade inside of pools. So the only way we can take care of that is to have the biggest, like to have like really large liquidity pools, right? Which allows people to trade without having so much slippage. The volatility in the price, it's another reason why we want to back each of our tokens like 1-to-1 with ADA or something else, right? It theoretically puts a floor on the price of our token, in that it should at the very least follow whatever the price of the underlying asset is, right? So if we're backing each one, if each sweet token has a one representing ADA token inside of the treasury, it should at the very least follow the price of ADA, right? So there should be some sort of predictability in that sense. Now, are people gonna overvalue it, undervalue it? I have no idea. That's up to the market to actually decide on it, right? But hopefully this gives it some sort of like stability, if you can call it that. You know what I mean? Some more predictability of like, hey, like I know at least it could be at this level, right? And because like this is gonna be a DAO, people are gonna be able to vote on these things, whatever. And because these things are in the treasury, let's just say like in the future and people want to vote to, like, you know what, like we want to shut Sweetdao down, like that's it, like we want to kill this project, right? There's going to be all this money, all this ADA inside a treasury, and because it's backed 1-to-1, that means like you can go and grab your sweet tokens and be like, hey, like I want to redeem the ADA that is being backed for this, and we would go and program it, and then people can literally like just take out whatever amount of Sweetdao tokens they own to get that proportion of whatever was in the treasury, because it's backed, right? So that's hopefully hopefully I don't like put all this work into building it and people are like, shut it down. But you never know and whatnot. But it's part of the thing. It's going to be a DAO.
And it mines itself, right? So like as it mines itself, I'm assuming you would need more ADA. So is the ADA gonna come from all from the mint, or how else will the ADA kind of back it up? How will it accumulate more ADA as you mine?
So yeah, so the ADA will come from, remember, you're paying service fees, right? So the service fees that when people swap, when you do a swap, you have to pay a service fee, right? Everybody does that. Buyers and sellers, they always pay. It's going to come from that. So we're going to make it so people have to pay the service fees in ADA, essentially, right? In ADA or some sort of stable coin. We'll be doing it in ADA. I'm leaning towards ADA just because stable coins these days aren't so stable. So I would rather just also support the actual network that we're using. I'm a Cardano fan. Let's get people to use Cardano more and more. So it's gonna, so that's to answer that question. It's gonna be coming in through the service fees. And another way to ensure that it's gonna that we're gonna back the tokens as well, we're gonna have something called what's called bonding. And what bonding does is, once we launch, the market is going to put some sort of a price onto the token, right? And what this bonding mechanism does, and bonding, it's not an idea that we came up with, but it was this really great idea that these other projects that came out within the last 6 months developed, and it's called, one of them being Olympus DAO. And what those guys did was they created this thing called bonding. And bonding is essentially, you sell not us, the protocol sells a certain amount of tokens at a discount, and the money that is raised from the sale of these tokens that are sold at a discount goes into the treasury. And that is another way to, again, back the tokens as well. So let's just say that the protocol, it's going to sell, I don't know, like 10,000 sweet tokens. And let's just say, we'll use like big round numbers. And let's just say that right now the price of the sweet token is $10, let's just say, right? this bonding mechanism will sell the tokens at, let's say, at $6, right? So right away, the people that are able to grab a certain amount of tokens that were up for sale at a discount, and they essentially get an arbitrage opportunity right off the bat, because the market is already saying that, hey, these tokens are actually at $10, and these guys are like 10,000 tokens are up for grab for at $6 or something like that, right? And what that does is it creates an imbalance, right? So, and that's the way, like, if you've heard of these other projects, you hear of like extremely high APYs, and some people ask, like, where's this APY coming from? Like, why am I getting a shit ton of like tokens or whatever, right? So some of these projects, some of them create tokens out of thin air, and that's where the high APY comes out of. But some of them, the ones that are actually backing their token, such as Olympus DAO, for example, what they're essentially doing is there is an imbalance between the amount of tokens that are circulating and the amount of tokens that are circulating and the amount of tokens that are backing those tokens. So let's just say that you have a treasury that has 10 million ADA in it, right? So you have 10 million ADA worth of tokens that can back a certain amount of sweet tokens, right? But let's just say that when we launch, we only have 1 million in circulation. You see there's an imbalance of 9 million tokens, right? That means that the system will be able to create 9 million worth of sweet tokens to be mined by the people that provide liquidity, right? So ideally, what you want is you want this system to always have this sort of imbalance, because you want the miners, like people that provide liquidity, to be able to get something that is actually backed. So you always want this imbalance. And the way we create this imbalance is by, one, through this bonding mechanism, and another way is by doing the service fee collection, because again, like, the protocol will own its own tokens, which means it can mine its own tokens. It's going to have its own liquidity, which allows it to mine its own tokens and collect more service fees. So we always want this imbalance happening. And some people might think, like, oh, this bonding thing, like, how, like, you can kind of run it forever and just kind of always do these discounts or whatever. But that's not the goal. Like, the goal for the bonding mechanism is to be able to kickstart this whole process, to get to the point where it's self-sufficient off of the service fees collected, and not have to consistently be doing this like token discount. So you can kind of think of the bonding mechanism as a way to do another round raise, like another way to just raise funds at a discount, like, kind of like yeah, like, it's just like another funding round essentially, right? But instead of like doing it from venture capitalists, you're kind of doing it through people that are wanting to support this or whatnot. And remember, again, like, the amount of tokens you own will determine how many service fees you'll be able to collect. So people might actually want to own more tokens because it's going to allow them to collect more service fees. You see what I mean? Like, it's it kind of ties into that whole thing. So yeah, those are the two methods. Those are the two main methods to ensure that the tokens are backed and it's growing. We want to have that imbalance of it, and it's going to be done through the bonding mechanism, and long term, it's going to be through the service fees that we do. That's going to make it self-sufficient. So yeah. Hopefully that answers your question. I know that was a long. Yeah.
Well, now that my brain is fried, no, I'm just kidding. So you're going to be dealing, obviously, at this point with what, like, conversions. So the ERC20 converter is what you'll be looking at to bridge, because you were talking about using Solidity contracts, right? So you're basically going to be doing it as a bridge to Ethereum and Cardano.
No. So the the way Melcometa works is it's gonna run the EVM essentially. It's gonna run the
Okay.
Ethereum virtual machine. So there's
Okay.
there's really no bridge needed. Like if we want to be able to bring in assets from Ethereum onto our DAX or something like that, then yes, we would need some sort of a bridge. And I believe the team at Melcometa is already, I think they're working on something like that already to make it really simple for that. And if they're like smart contracts, they're essentially just APIs that I can grab and just start using. So they could build that out, and I can program it so it connects to their stuff and it lands in our it lands in our pools or whatever. So I'm gonna just let them do that, that while I build this other stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, it's another functionality that you can bring in, but it's not really needed. It's yeah.
Okay.
Yo, what's up, Mr. Durden? What's up, homie? Appreciate you stopping by.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a
So
homie.
did so is this going to be like an open source sort of deal, or
our
semi
project?
open? Yeah.
Yeah, so the I think we'll open source it once we actually launch it. I don't want to open source it before that.
again, like
Okay.
Yeah, so but yeah, I don't mind putting the essentially the smart contracts they're available to the public because of how it works anyways. So technically all contracts are open source contracts. If people really want to delve into the code and whatnot, they'll be able to find it. So but as development goes or whatnot, no, I'm gonna keep it closed until we want to make sure that the contracts are like reviewed and all that stuff. Yeah, so we'll end up doing that like much later. Yeah. So yeah.
I feel like we've been neglecting Vic over here.
Oh no!
Hddn
The reason why I
Order.
brought Martin on is because he is so good explaining this stuff, and I usually just sit there just soak up so much information from him, and so like I was trying to like, hey, you need to come up here. It's like, hey, Atlanick, you gotta talk to this guy. Hey, you gotta talk to this guy. This guy, he knows so much more, and I've been enjoying just like listening and learning about this new idea. At least to Cardano, this is new. A lot of people don't know this concept of DeFi or this exchange or this format of merchant liquidity. So
Yeah, when I was talking to Vic originally about it, he was like, "Yeah, you heard how there's gonna be like ETH to ADA," and I was like, "Wait, you mean like ADA to ETH, right?" And he was like, "No, they're working on a way to do ETH to ADA," and I was like, "Yeah, but that's probably like really far away, right?" And he was like, "No, you got to get Martin on here, like he'll explain it to you." And I was like, "Okay, like that sounds freaking awesome," because there was already the way to convert ADA to ETH for like less than a penny, right? And I was like, "Dude, that's mind blowing," but screw that. I want ETH to come to ADA, you know, like that's what I want, you know, personally as a Cardano fan. Like we need more people over here. You know, we don't need people leaving our ecosystem. Not that I want to like, you know, protect it or guard it like that, but you know, Cardano needs the help, you know, like the more people that we can get to come over to Cardano, the better our ecosystem can thrive. So, you know, I think all of us are kind of just praying like once we can get a bridge from ETH to ADA, you know, then it's all engines go.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's like a two-pronged thing, right? We want to be able to get assets from Ethereum network to the Cardano network, but also more importantly, we want the dApps that are already on ETH that have a ton of users and whatnot to be able to be ported over, or at least the same type of functionality, the same type of ecosystem growing on Cardano as well. And yeah, Melcometa is going to help with both of those things through their bridging thing, and also the fact that you can literally just grab Ethereum based code and it's going to run on the EVM, the Ethereum virtual machine. So you'll be able to deploy the exact same code over here. So it's a big deal and whatnot. So, and we've already seen this play out, right? Like I don't know how much you guys follow the Ethereum ecosystem, but we essentially had like Ethereum, and obviously it's having their scaling problems. It's slow, it's expensive, etc., etc. And then we had Polygon, which is a layer 2 solution, launch, right? And what happened there was a bunch of people grabbed the exact same code and then they launched it over there. So now it's like cheaper, etc., right? So that's what Melcomet is. It's our version of Polygon, essentially. Yeah, so it should be cool. Fun times ahead. Exciting times.
So is there already a way to convert ETH over to ADA, or is it kind of indirect? Like, do you have to convert ETH to like Polygon and then over to, you know, a DApp or something on Cardano and then convert it or something?
Yeah, I actually haven't played too much with the things to convert it. I think right now they're still in trials, if I believe. It's not 100%.
No, I think it's working. It's working. I think I remember talking to someone. You can literally just like log in MetaMask smooth and just swap it. I think it swaps to what's called Milk ADA. So that ADA wrapped in, or like they wrap it, and I guess Ethereum is, I guess, would say.
Yeah. It's really like, it's a really interesting concept. Essentially what they do is like they create a smart contract on Ethereum, and that holds it for you. And then you have something that's watching to see like, okay, like what just got put in there. And then they'll create the exact same one. They'll back it because it's like on this network, and then it's on this network. And then they'll be like, okay, cool, now it's over here. So then you can trade it around or whatever. And then when you swap it back, this gets destroyed, and now you can move this around again. That's essentially what it is, right? So
because you have to send it to an endpoint. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff. Very exciting times ahead.
So, all right. Now I want to know just a little bit about like both of you. I know you're both, you know, into Cardano NFTs, but do you have your own NFT collection? And if so, like what is your most, you know, prized possession NFT that you own?
Well, the most prized possession that I own right now is the NFT project that we're essentially developing to help kickstart Sweetdao, right? So we'll be doing a collection of 5,000 NFTs. They're called Bougie Dogs, and it's going to be computer generated kind of like art. So it's gonna have like I don't know if you can show it on. I think we have it on our. We can't share screen right now.
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe if you have it up,
you can share your screen, or you can send it to me, and I can show it.
Yeah, let's do that, man.
If you want, there's a button down on the screen. You just hit share and then do share screen, and then I just have to approve it.
Bro, don't be like Nick. Clear your browsing history just in case. Shit.
Oh, that's awkward.
He risks it, bro. Like I tell everybody, bro. He risks it for the biscuit every single time. He's like, search history. It's like, oh man, if that was my house.
The search history is what gets you. Google saves that for you.
Hey, bro, I'm an open book, man. You can see what I look at. You know, I don't care, man.
Hey, I'm okay with that. I'm the same. It's like oh shit.
It's a roll of the dice, man. I'm telling you, it's a roll of the dice every single time.
I think about it, and I'm like, I shouldn't do this, so let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Am I sharing the screen now or not?
Yeah, you're sharing us.
It's infinity right now, so I'll try to show. Jesus, that's a lot of.
We're in the infinite hallway.
Yeah. Oh shit! I opened the wrong thing.
I'll remove us until we get to the spot. Help
people.
Yeah.
Do that. Yeah.
Epilepsy or whatever.
Vic, what's your favorite NFT?
Oh, nice. So my favorite ones are pixel stuff. So anything that's pixelated.
Really?
So like one of my favorite ones. So like the first thing I like fell in love with. There's this guy. His Twitter goes by Cardapixel or Cardano Pixels. It's not Cardano Pixels, but it's Cardapixel. And I own the #1, like the season 2 Cardapixel. And I was like, I've never ever had the #1 before, like in the tier list. So that's like one of my favorites. One other favorite too is like your Raptor collection. Like your retro Raptors are probably one of the coolest things I've seen. So mostly because it fits my like OG, like old school kind of like retro synthwave vibe, but it's a fucking Raptor. It's a Jurassic Park. So that's another one I like too.
Yeah, I
Plus
got one
the-
of my Raptors as well, bro.
Yeah.
When I first got it, I was like, dude, these things are fucking dope.
That's literally one of the coolest things that I like. It's such a cool like idea. Like, damn, I want to be part. I want to be a retro raptor. It's so cool.
It
Love stuff.
reminds me of that movie. It's like a joke movie, and it's making fun of like the 70s or 80s.
It is.
vibe.
It is.
Do you
It
know what I'm
is.
talking about? The movie
Yeah.
that do you
I don't know what it's called.
Ah,
cool.
Yes.
I always
Figure it
forget the name
out.
of it.
Figure it out. It's gonna feel so good once you figure it out.
I know.
I don't want to know. I can't.
And it's like it's two words.
Do you know it?
Yeah.
Come
course he
on,
knows
man,
it.
help me out.
He's the one that created Retro Raptors. Of course he knows it.
I can't remember it.
Bro, you're talking about Kung Fury. Get out of here.
Yes.
Damn.
Oh, damn! And he's like,
Kung Fury, man. Yeah.
With Hacker
No, that's a
Man.
good one. So,
Oh.
okay, so we got the designer shirt. He's
Yeah,
got a-
so this is like our NFT. So our NFT is going to be made up of like these. We're calling it like bougie dogs because it's supposed to be like a high end like type of like clothing on it, and it's essentially like these patterns. And these patterns were created by like an algorithm. So we have a bunch of different like over 1,000 patterns essentially that were computer generated and turned into like clothing essentially. So I'm literally in the process of like creating the layers right now. So we're very close to actually having the work done for this. But essentially we have these different patterns, and if let me just give you guys a preview of what the patterns will actually look like.
I think the coolest thing about the Bougie Dogs is the algorithmic patterns for the hoodies. So that's something that's been super cool. That
So like we have
yeah.
like a shit ton of like different patterns, and they're all, some of them are like really really slick looking. Like you have like ones that are just like 2 colors or whatever, and you have some of them are ugly as fuck, but like these I think those are the ones that are going to be worth more. But yeah, like it's an algorithm that creates these like really random patterns to create the actual hoodie itself. And we'll have stuff for like these patterns on like t-shirts and like a crew neck sweater, like a bomber jacket, stuff like that. And it's gonna just kind of be like the dress of our character here.
That's how nerdy you are, Martin. You created an algorithm to create a design for your hoodie, and I fucking love it.
I think
You're like, I'm not gonna draw it. I'm gonna create an algorithm to do the art for me and see what it does. That's a cool one right there.
This is a really cool looking one. So our goal here is we're gonna be selling these to raise money so we can have enough money to market the crap out of the ISPO, so we can raise as much money as possible to kickstart that treasury. So we'll be selling these, and then we're gonna airdrop for free. I've hired a really really good artist, a 3D artist, and he makes some like really really cool shit. He's gonna convert this into a 3D version, where like a really high quality. Like if you guys saw his stuff is like fucking like next level. So he's helping us out. I'll show you guys
but we can't name names, or can we name names?
Pardon?
Can we name drop?
Names? Name drops?
No comment. No comment.
No comment.
Like
Okay.
on who the artist is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His name is Victor.
That's it. That's all they gotta say.
That's a little hint. Hey, if you want, you can pick him up and put his like Twitter up there, or some of his works if you want. If you don't want, that's cool too. But I'll pull the screen back up if you can find.
Let me hold on a second. I have his. I'll show you one piece of his work. It's really fucking. He's so fucking good at it. Let me grab it and I'll share it with you guys. Give me 1 sec.
Sorry.
That's the most aggressive way to drink a Coca-Cola I've ever seen.
That's the only way to do it. It's cheat day, bro. It's cheat day, my brother.
Oh, I love it.
I got a free pizza.
Dude, talk about that.
I got a free pizza. Shout out to Chilled Kongs. Talk about freaking utility.
Free pizza?
Okay. Free pizza, dog. So
And no, it wasn't pineapple.
no pineapple. So Jake Shepard, one of the OGs, dude, he has like 600 Kongs, something like that. Yeah, 650, something like that. And so anyway, he said when the floor hits 3K, I'll buy everybody a pizza. And you could redeem a pizza for free. And that's exactly what I did. Talk about talk about utility, dog. Talk about a utility. Like that's the ultimate utility. And like
I'm gonna get pizza for 3K floor.
For a 3K floor, yeah. And then he said I think at 10K he's gonna buy everybody a minivan.
What?
Just a minivan. Yeah.
Isn't he gonna lose money at that point?
I really
He said minivan. He didn't specify what kind of minivan.
Or what age.
Right. So we were just expecting something like pictures of a pizza, a joke or whatever. Homeboy delivered. Homeboy delivered on his promise. And man, I'm telling you, Chilled Kongs, some of the, like, people talk about communities and this, that, and the other. Legit, the hands down, if not the best community, period, end of story. And yeah, they hit the 3K floor, and then he's like, all right, everybody send me your Addy. And then we snap pictures of it. I just released my picture of it and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it was dope. This is like one of the coolest things I've ever experienced in the NFT space so far. I got a free pizza just for holding and chilling with these guys. And so, man, that was great. It was a great thing.
Was there a reason behind this pump, or was it just because shrooms are coming out pretty soon and some whales were just like, yeah, let me get some shrooms?
Okay, so shrooms came out. I think one DAO picked it up a little bit, but for the most part, like, people aren't selling, right? Like, so it's a collection of 8,000, and I don't know exactly how many is on the market right now. It's got to be sub 500 probably, or something like that, close to it. So there's not many on the floor, or in the market at all.
Is there a way on JPEG so I can see how many are listed? Or OpenCNFT.io or something like that?
I believe so.
Browsing history, here we
Percentage, go. It's he rolling the dice, baby. Woo! So I think no, because that shows how many unique holders there are in Jungle, right? Yeah.
Let's see, assets sold. No, it doesn't say how many are listed. Is it CNFT.io that does that? Or tools, rather?
I think maybe you'll be able to find how many assets there are. And if so, that's it. 1,000? Maybe there's 1,000 listed, something like that.
Where does it show?
Go to buy, like price ascending or whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh, like this?
Yeah. How many?
Oh, 855.
855.
Not bad.
10% of the entire collection is out there. I mean, that ain't bad. You know what I mean? And so you have shrooms coming up, Jeeps. You have the Kong boxes with Boss Cat Rock Club. I feel like that was a marriage, a really good marriage for them.
Boss Cat's been chilling lately.
They have. Yeah. They've just been kind of silent, probably still doing like their Vox set stuff and this, that, and the other. I don't know what they have. I'd say
one of the few blue chip, if we want to call it that yet, NFTs or CNFTs that actually saw a bear market.
Yeah. Which one?
Boss
Cat?
You
mean talking about Boss Cat?
Yeah.
You call it blue chip?
Hey, I use quotes, bro. I use quotes.
Well, what's another color that we want to call it? We'll call it like
cyan chip.
Cyan chips.
Little
That's so much
turquoise
better.
action.
Turquoise chips. That sounds way better. I'll take that.
Bro, you're probably gonna get a bunch of hate from them boss cats in your chat right now.
Hey, send them my way.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Like those guys are rabid. Those guys are cool. Like they
Dude, it's
defend
in general
their
calling
stuff, right?
calling anything a blue chip is kind of like it's kind of like the word doxed. I feel like there's like doxed, and then there's like soft doxed, and then hard doxed, and then like it's like
Well, this sounds like a porno. What kind of docs do you want today? You want a hard docs or do you want a soft docs? I like a little soft docs sometimes. Oh
just
my
a little
God.
soft dox. But yeah, Martin, do you have that image that you wanted to show?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'll show you guys what
Sorry. We got
what the
sidetracked.
artist is capable of, and he's already started. I've already given him some feedback. I'll show you the first draft that he did. We're taking it in a different direction, but I'll give you guys kind of like a preview of what's been happening with the 3D stuff, because this is going to be literally airdrop. If you guys, if people buy the 2D one, you'll literally get the 3D one airdrop for free. Yeah, let's show it. Let's show them the quality of the art that they should expect from this artist.
Gotcha. I can see your screen, so whenever you have the images up, I'll pull it up.
Okay,
That
cool,
way we
sweet.
don't have to epilepsy shock everybody.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is the quality of the art that he does, man. Like he's really good at.
Yo, tell me that ain't fire.
Talk about a hard docs. Oh.
Ding.
God damn it.
Boy,
Yeah, right.
No,
Like
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding,
this-
dude. Yeah, no, that looks great. That
this
does
is
look
like
great.
really fucking good. Like the amount of detail that he's able to put into his art, like the cloth or whatever. This is kind of like what we're expecting for ours, and obviously like because we're gonna be using the computer generated patterns to make like the actual cloth for this, so it should look like a cool like real hoodie. And this is kind of like the first draft of what the character is gonna look like, but I think we're moving away from this. I think we're gonna make it more cutesy, so it'll be more like more like chibi.
Cheapy.
Cute anime girls. Just go with
Like
it.
you know what chibi is? Like chibi?
CHIBI.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
chibi dango
it's like
things,
when they're like
right?
shrunk a little bit, like they're more cutesy, like more cartoony-ish, like type of thing. So I think we're gonna go in that general direction because it's a little bit more on brand, particularly with our with the way like Sweetdao is. Like it's very bubbly, it's very friendly. So we're gonna be going in that general direction for it. But yeah, like hopefully people like the art that we're going to be creating, and it's actually going to have utility as well. That's one thing that was really important for this collection as well. Like I mentioned to you guys before, we're going to have that bonding mechanism where people are going to have a discount, right? Like whatever the price is, it'll have a discount, and if you own this NFT, it's going to give you an additional discount because these are our first supporters essentially. So if they want to be able to grab more of our the project's token at a even higher discount than the rest of the people that don't own an NFT, it's gonna that's the utility there. They will be the first miners as well, the first liquidity providers. It'll be easier for them to mine the actual tokens as well at the beginning because there's not as much liquidity. Like it ramps up, right? Like the more liquidity is, the harder it gets. Kind of goes off, and they'll be the first essentially they'll be the first DAO members too, right? Like these are going to be the people that are going to kind of help form our community and whatnot. So yeah, there's going to be definite like utility. It's going to be like a one-off like NFT. I'm not going to be making like season 1, season 2, season 3 and all that any of that stuff. I think that when projects do stuff like that, it puts more like you need more utility. Like if you're just doing season 1, season 2 and 3 and they don't really have utility, then people are more skeptical of it. So we're going to just do like literally one season and the people that own that get the 2D one, they'll get the 3D one, but it's going to be part of it, right? It'll act like they'll both act as a key, but yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like even all art projects that are like, hey, we're just an art project. I don't want you guys to think we're anything else. Then even like a few months later or weeks later, they're like, hey, here's like our white paper and we're going to have like tokens and we're going to be doing this. And it's like, I thought this was just art. Like, y'all, you playing with me.
Yeah. No, definitely. So, yeah, hopefully people like the art. Like we try to do something a little bit different with the computer generated like clothing and all that stuff, as opposed to just like any normal clothing. You know what I mean? Like it's yeah, we try to do a little bit something different. So hopefully hopefully people like it.
No,
So-
that
Yeah.
art looked amazing. So
So,
Okay. Nice, thanks. Glad you liked it.
how? So people are going to be able to mine. Is that correct, or is it just you guys essentially? Could somebody actually mine
What do
your
you mean?
token or whatever?
well, because you were saying how like you mine your own token and that's how it keeps going, but can other people also mine it?
Yeah, it's the liquidity providers, right? When you it's like how all other projects they have the same thing, right? You provide liquidity, it's liquidity mining, right? That's what it's really called, right?
Okay.
So you as a user, like Atlanick, Tim, or whatever, you provide liquidity and then you're gonna get the token. And the reason why I say it mines its own token is because of the protocol own liquidity. Remember, like the protocol itself is going to own a portion of its own liquidity, right? So you can think of like you understand like, what I mean by that? Like
Kinda.
the kinda.
Yeah, I'm kinda.
Okay, so essentially, like you can think of the DAO, right? The DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, right? It's this entity that exists, right? Now let's just pretend that this entity is actually a person. This person owns liquidity and it's providing liquidity to the protocol, right? For people to trade. Because this person, which is really the DAO, is providing liquidity, it's gonna be able to mine the token, right? So that means that the DAO mines its own token and collects fees for itself. And does that make more sense?
You get more money. You get more rewards. That's the best,
So
simple
so
way.
the DAO, so yeah, so you can think of it like a company, right? Think of it like a company. The company owns liquidity, is providing liquidity to this protocol, and the because it's providing liquidity, it's gonna be able to mine more of the tokens, and because it's depending on how many tokens you own, you can collect a proportion of the service fees collected, right? It's gonna collect fees for itself, which go back into the DAO, which goes back into the protocol as liquidity, right? Because if you're grabbing all this ADA that is being collected as service fees and you're putting it back into the protocol as liquidity, that means that you're going to be mining. You're providing more liquidity, increases how much you can mine, and it starts a cycle on itself. Do you see what? Does
I
that make
think
sense?
maybe I don't understand how mining works. I always thought like mining, like you needed a rig and you needed to like set it up to like run a
No.
program
Okay,
over and
cool.
over.
So this is okay. So back to basics. So there's different types of mining, right? You have the mining where you do to mine blocks on the actual network itself. So for example, Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin mining, people use computers to be able to try to solve a mathematical equation, essentially what it is, and then hopefully they're the ones that solved it, and then the network rewards them for all that effort that they put into it, and then they're chosen to then write a record into the blockchain, right? So it's just like Atlantic, he won the race to solve this problem. You are the chosen one to write the next block, right? So then he goes and he puts it into the ledger, and because you were the one that did that, here is 10 bitcoins or whatever, right? That's your reward for that. That's a lot of bitcoins.
We paying the rent today.
Yeah, right. So that's one type of mining, right? And the Ethereum also does the exact same type of mining, right? Now, Cardano, they don't have that type of mining. What they do is they do a staking, right? When you stake, that's their version of mining, right? And that's how the whole protocol gets secured, et cetera, et cetera. You guys know about those things, right? The stake pools and all that stuff, right? So that's another version of mining. In DeFi, you have what's called liquidity mining. And liquidity mining is when you provide liquidity, and that's to facilitate people trading, you get rewarded, usually in the form of that project's token, right? So when Uniswap launched, or even like SundaySwap, like when you provide liquidity, when you put ADA to allow people to trade, you get two things. You get a service fee that is collected for allowing people to use essentially your money to trade, and you get rewarded and also in a token, right? So that's liquidity mining. You're putting money up for other people to essentially use to facilitate trading, and you get rewarded in service fees and in a token. That's what liquidity mining is. So in our case, because our project, the DAO will own a bunch of liquidity. Essentially, it'll own a bunch of money that is inside the treasury that is acting as liquidity. Because it's providing that, it's going to be able to mine the token, right? And that token will belong to the DAO. And because the DAO owns a certain portion of tokens, it's going to be able to collect a certain amount of fees. So let me use some big numbers, for example. Let's just say that the DAO owns 50% of all the tokens, right? And there is this pot where all the service fees are going. And let's just say there's $1 million worth of service fees because so many people are trading, they're paying the fees or whatever, right? Because the DAO owns 50% of the tokens, it's going to go in and it's going to collect $500,000 because that's what's in the pot right now, right? The DAO takes $500,000 or 500,000 ADA in this case, takes that ADA and puts it back into a liquidity pool to provide liquidity, which means because again it's providing liquidity, it's going to mine again more of its own token. So now that 50% is now maybe 51%.
It's
You see
like
what I mean?
dividend
Like,
reinvesting.
it's going to reinvest in itself,
That
and
makes sense.
that's how it will become a self-sustaining business. So in the long run, we don't need to depend on outside actors to provide liquidity, because again, like I told you before, one of the big problems that these dexes have is you have like big giant funds, like big banks. Maybe we don't even know because these guys are like they're anonymous essentially, right? You can have a big bank come in, throw in a bunch of money, mine the token, they sell all the tokens that they mined, right? And then they take all the liquidity out, and then they just killed the project and just murdered everybody that holds the token because the price crashed, right? So to avoid that, the way to avoid that is for the actual project itself to be the owners of the liquidity. We don't need these other funds to come and do this. We don't need them anymore, right? So now it becomes a self-sustaining business, a self-sustaining decentralized autonomous organization that has a legitimate business model. Do you see what I mean? Does that make more sense, guys?
Makes sense to me now. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I got you.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So obviously, you guys will be using like a multi-sig wallet. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. So for the treasury, we're gonna need to have a multi-sig wallet to be able to have the treasury locked down, right? Because at the end of the day, like this money doesn't belong to me, it doesn't belong to anybody. It belongs to the DAO, right? It belongs to the community. So to avoid getting hacked or anything like that, and it's one of the reasons also that we as a team are doxxed. Like I'm not gonna plaster my face all over this and then like run away with the funds. I'm not gonna be like, hey guys, I live in Australia. And then you know what I mean? So the whole point of that is to be very like to be transparent, right? Like I think people are tired of like getting scammed and whatnot, right? And we want to build trust within the community. We want to be very transparent on how everything is. So yes, the treasury where the DAO's treasury essentially that is being used as liquidity, it's going to have to be a multi-sig wallet, and yeah, we'll have to disperse that out amongst the members as well, and also like some other people that are not as part of the team. Maybe I can throw it to like Charles Hoskinson or something, be like, hey, do you want to hold it, hold this, and yeah, make sure that no one does any sketchy shit and whatnot. You know what I mean? Yeah. So to answer that question, yes, we will be 100% doing that.
I love that, man. I just wanted to, because I asked you your favorite, and I didn't get to Vic's favorite NFT. What's your most prized possession NFT, Vic? What you got for us, homie?
It's honestly Cardano Cades. It's the first NFT emulator in general. So it's an emulator for like, you know, ROMs, like Game Boy Advance games and stuff like that. So they were the first, officially first NFT emulator, not just on Cardano, but like you can play a ROM on there. You can play like your Pokemon like Red on there. This is literally my prized possession because I could play whatever ROM games I want. If I want to play my old school Pokemon Gold, I can on a NFT.
So wait, how does it work?
You just log into pool.pm and then just open up your ROM and you can play like Zelda on there just straight out of pool.pm.
Wait, so do I have to open up like this NFT?
You have to own one of those, yeah, on pool.pm. So I think you can open up pool.pm. You could just play on there right now, maybe. I think. I don't know. But
I feel like you're hacking the system when you do that. All right, you have to buy the NFT.
Yeah, just buy the NFT.
Okay, I'm just trying to do this for demo purposes. Okay, educational purposes only.
Well, do you have a ROM?
Yeah, I do actually.
Wow. FBI, excuse me.
I mean, but I made it myself though.
He made it himself.
Okay.
Yeah. So the team behind it, they're making their own custom ROM. They're gonna make their own little game, and I have a friend that wants to build a game on top of their little game. So I know people are, instead of building a metaverse, they're building like a game within a game. Or they're just technically.
So wait, I can choose a file. Oh, we going super crazy here. I don't know what I got over here.
Oh boy. This is really Russian roulette here, boys. Right here. We're about to get canceled in 2022.
Good thing his folders are so small, I can't even see what's in it.
Yeah.
So,
you know, I don't know actually where it is. What is the?
Oh, I see you moved your screen.
I gotta find it. I literally don't know where it is, so it'll take me a bit. But yeah, I have a completely legit hacked version of Fire Red.
Yeah. So yeah, I think what surprised me the most is like someone sold a transparent one for 18K ADA. I was like, what the fuck? Who the fuck has that much money? So it's like there's like I think a small percentage of them that have like a transparent background, so you can see like the internals of like a Game Boy Advance essentially. And those are the ones I want. I want one of those.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, so it's not it's a GBA file. It's not a ISO. So I don't know if I can load that.
GBA, Game Boy Advance. There you go.
Choose file. It shows it. Now what? Can I play it? Did I do it right?
You click load game and see what works.
Oh, load state.
Yeah.
I chose file.
Did you just buy one of these?
No, but I'm using pool.pm, you know, for educational purposes, of course.
Cheating. He's cheating.
Yeah, he didn't buy one.
Using
I thought he bought one. I was like, oh, shit.
Here's a save state.
There you go.
That work? Did it work? I heard something. My earphones popped. Load. My earphones popped again. I think it's trying.
Beep boop boop boop.
I don't know. It's a hacked version.
I think it supports like old school Game Boy Advance ROMs right now. So
well, that's cool.
So one of the cool things, yeah. And then I think keyboard right now is WASD and all that stuff. And then soon they'll probably just do mobile, and then you're like, what? I have an NFT that actually is an emulator, and I can play my old school games on there. That's kind of cool. And it's technically, until someone else comes out, and with the Guinness Book Records, it's technically the first NFT game emulator because no one else has done that on the blockchain. Not just Cardano, on like blockchains in general. So
That's really cool. I just wonder, obviously, the floor price hasn't, gone crazy. And I wonder if that's due to the fact that you can get these emulators for free already. I'm not, no shots, obviously. I'm just being real.
You can. I think it's just something I think it took them a while to figure out how to code and put an emulator inside an NFT.
Yeah,
I don't know how they did that.
I think it's more about like showing the capability, right?
Yeah.
Of having it.
I wonder how many total. Okay, like 2K.
1989. What a great year!
I just realized that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Huh.
What
about
cool.
you?
I never actually heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I just know a bunch of like underrated and underappreciated projects that are doing actual utility, and I think they're one of the things that they shout out is the community, which is like Cardano Keys. So Cardano Keys is essentially one of the first OG projects on Cardano where they were the first ones to provide ADA rewards if you hold an NFT. So like you hold an NFT and then there's like a loot crate, and people randomly get sent loot crates, and each side has like a random amount of like ADA you can get if you hold like their NFT. So
yeah, I actually bought 3 of these keys a while back, and I still own them, and I really thought they were going to do well. I kind of still feel like they are, but I don't know if they're continuing to develop or if they kind of stayed away. I don't know what's happening with this.
They had a pretty crazy floor for a while. I want to say when they first came out, they it was like 70, 80 at least, and then the rare ones that have like the I don't know which it's got like the feathery looking one.
Yeah.
With I don't know exactly which one it is. But like
the bird?
No, not the bird. It's like a no. There's only like I don't know, maybe a couple hundred of them, if that.
Yeah, the higher rarity keys you have, the more rewards people get. So
right there, that's the one.
Damn, $375 for this one.
Yeah, the iHawk, and so that's actually cheap. They were sitting at like I want to say 800 or 900 at least for like the longest time. And this was back in like September. August or September. Yeah.
I bought some of these I think in December. Just they were super cheap, and I was just like, man, this project looks really cool. It's an OG project. People are coming into Cardano, like they're sleeping on this. I'm gonna buy some, and I told all my friends, I was like, yo, man, I'm buying this. I think it's a good buy, and man, I'm glad nobody listened to me. But I think I still think they're cool.
Yeah, no, they are. They're cool. I mean,
what do they do?
They're supposed to open up like these crates, but I don't know if they're still doing that.
Oh, they're still doing it. They test it out, and then so they test it out every now and then with their server, and people have won like 25 to 100 ADA rewards depending on what crates they open up. So
okay, so I have 3 of them. How do I do it? I just need to be active in the Discord.
I think just so you can get tested in their alpha tests and beta tests, because stuff like that probably takes a while to figure out in code. So yeah, most definitely join their Discord and figure out like how to get involved in their opening the loot crates that they're still developing.
Because I bought 3 different kinds. I bought a bronze, a silver, and a gold, just because I don't know. I thought they would kind of go crazy, and I was like, well, I want to sell the bronze. Maybe I'll keep the silver and gold for the win.
Yeah, but definitely, yeah. I think I like those ones because they're super like OG, but also they have like super unique utility.
Yeah.
So I want to say they came out in like June, July.
Yeah.
Maybe or whatever, and then they kind of ran up, and then they ran up again in like I said August or September, like where it was just like okay, Like people are going freaking crazy for them again, and they look cool. Like especially the one with the IOHK and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do look
They
cool.
look pretty cool. Damn, what else is there? Like maybe an old school. What is an old school project that
I'll tell you
maybe
right now. I'll tell you right now.
we haven't talked about in a long time?
Cardano trees.
Oh shoot! I have something. I have one to give away. Those. I forgot.
Old school.
They're so cheap. They're cheaper now. Oh
I
my
know.
god! I remember when they were going up for like 4K, 8K.
What, each floor?
Yeah, some of the rare ones will be selling for like 4 to 8K, depending on like how people want it.
I bought 2 of these in January at 100, and that's still where they're at. I may buy another one.
Yeah. But I think before January there were like some ridiculous prices for some Cardano trees.
Yeah,
I think the floor was at like what the lowest that I saw it at was like a 150 or something like that shortly after launch. Right, it was the lowest, and then I just kind of held on to trees, and that was it. Just because I think they're cool. The aesthetic of them is pretty cool. You know what I mean? There was supposedly this one, it's Cardano seeds or something like that, right? Or something that was supposed to come out, and you were supposed to watch your tree grow.
Oh yeah, it's called NFT seeds.
NFT seeds. There you go. I remember somebody was like throwing their bag at this one, and I was like, I mean, it seems cool, but I don't see it.
Oh, here's your pixel stuff, Vic.
Oh yeah, love my pixel art.
These are awesome.
And then I think you get like if it grows apples, you get apples or like whatever thrown into your wallet. I don't know exactly what it was, but yeah, some of those look actually pretty cool.
They look really cool.
I don't think they're as cool as the Cardano trees, but
no, they're not. Cardano trees is like a work of art. I could put that on my wall and be like, damn, it's alive.
Well, the Cardano trees are still working too. They're adding add-ons that you can add to the backgrounds, such as like fireworks or sun, moon, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, and that is cool. And those things you can buy separately. I think a natural evolution of the Cardano trees, which I don't know if it became as I want to say it's bigger now, but Bitfins, right? They're doing the same thing with the aquarium and stuff.
Yep.
So, what he's doing over there and that team is actually like really, really cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah. And so, have you talked to him at all?
Yeah.
About Bitfins, Nick?
Yeah, he's trying to work with I know right now he's working on. He already has a token. He's already got a staking mechanism. So he's trying to work on building. He's trying to look for investments right now, VC and funding. So I think his goal is to figure out how he can integrate this with the aquarium culture, that kind of community, because there's a lot of untapped opportunities out there with that ecosystem of people that are into fish, aquarium, aquatic life, and all that stuff. And he's gonna try to showcase his kind of essentially like how do you bring this virtual aquarium to these people that have a real life aquarium, and that's something that he's working on right now. He's focusing on that ecosystem right now. I know that's what he was doing. He talked about it like 4 weeks ago. So
I had one of the
Twitter Spaces like crazy too.
Yeah, that dude just hangs out in Twitter Spaces all the time. I'm just like, oh shit, Bitfins is in there. Now, I had one of the first digital aquariums. It was on Dreamcast, and it was called Seaman. It is.
Oh shoot, Dreamcast! Oh my god!
Yeah, Nick, you gotta put a picture of that up, dude.
Wait, so it's called
Dreamcast. Just type in Dreamcast and then Seaman, SEAMAN. Look at that dude. Caution, Seaman. Look at it.
Oh,
wait,
God.
This?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, he would like talk to you and shit.
This has got to be the most horrifying thing I've ever seen.
Oh, it was crazy. it was crazy. But yeah, you just leave your Dreamcast on and it would interact, right? And just
do I want him to interact?
No, it's a horrific thing to show a child.
Yeah, how do you like move on and like continue to live after experiencing this at such a young age?
You can't look at them.
Oh, we gotta see video of it actually working. That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's on.
Wait,
and it
there's a
talks.
video. Where's the
It talks
video?
to you. Oh yeah, you can see it on YouTube and everything like that. Yeah, this probably it doesn't have too much gameplay. Plus, it's
Damn, no ad blocker. Damn, this is not your
wow.
actual. This is not your Google profile. This is something else.
Yeah. This is actually
This is your guest profile.
this is my YouTube profile.
Yep, I knew it because you forgot the ad blocker to add it on there.
Yep, I did.
Well, so also Dreamcast had one of my favorite video games of all time, and it was called Tokyo Extreme Racer 2. That was probably one of my favorite games / racing games of all time. So, like, look,
That's so cool. You saw that? It's like it's living. Oh, what the
my-
fuck?
oh.
yeah,
What
yeah,
the
bro.
fuck?
But there's a speaker for Dreamcast?
yeah.
Yo, this is so. Oh my god.
And
What
it talked
the
back.
fuck?
It spoke back to you.
That is kind of crazy. I don't know
Yeah.
how much I can show somebody else's video, so away we go. But that is something right there.
Anyway,
You know,
Biddy-
Bitfin is definitely better than that.
Bitfins, you better do something like that, dude. People want it. You know.
Yeah, make a Bitfins for the Dreamcast.
But that was the craziest thing. Like that was my first ever online gaming. Was on Dreamcast.
Wait,
You
that was
know.
online?
Yeah, you would boot up your 56K modem and you could play people online.
Damn.
Yeah, you could do Tetris, even the 2K series, right?
Wow.
So NBA 2K, back when that was a thing, you would boot up your 56K modem because nobody had Ethernet at that point. We had no idea. Like the closest thing that we had to that was when I moved into the dorms at Purdue, and we were at we had T1, which was considered insane speed.
That was
really-
amazingly fast. That was like right before broadband hits.
right before broadband. And so yeah, it's slow by today's standard, right? You know, we were still downloading legal movies and things like that and songs non-torrented, you know, and it would still take a couple minutes, but you know, it was better than what we had at home. And so yeah, you would just play people online. It was kind of crazy to see where it was at that time. It was like 2001, 2002, and we had online gaming. So yeah, these are the Biffins. It's pretty cool.
Bitfins are crazy.
The dude,
Another project that like I really respect for, you know, not having like a crazy floor price, but continuing to build and just do crazy things with their project. Like I just respect that because so many other projects are like, oh, my floor is sucking. Like I'll just rug pull since I didn't release my name. And it's just like, oh, awesome. Thanks. Appreciate you trying for like a month and then dipping out. I hope this $50,000 like treats you well.
yeah. My worst rug was still the Cardoge puppies, dude.
Oh no.
But I loved them. They look so cute, and I was like, you know what? All right, I'll go for it. And man, I got rugged so hard. It was only. For
I think
like
now that
4
because we're in like in a bear market essentially for NFTs, I think people are gonna start being more picky about what projects they actually buy into. Like if the team isn't dogs and stuff, then the chances of it taking off are way slim. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to bring that up too. So like some people have been hitting me up to make videos for them, and like before, you know, months ago, I would just cover any project that was willing to do it because I needed the money, you know, and I just thought like who like matter, like who really cares? I'm telling people that it's a paid promotional video anyways, so they already know like, oh, he's doing this to help himself make some money, you know, and I do this full time, so I do have to do that. But then like I realized some people weren't understanding that it's like a paid promotional video, and they were like, you know, actually buying these projects just because I covered them. And I was like, okay, well, that's not good. And I say do your own research. Obviously every YouTuber does, but I'm realizing nobody does.
No.
So
No one does.
no one does. So I was like, okay, well, all right, I'll fix this. I'll only cover docs projects, because then at the very least, these projects aren't rugging you, you know, and who knows, maybe these projects do turn out well, right? It's still a do your own research, but as long as they don't rug, you know, like I respect that. You know, who knows what the project can do? You never know.
Yeah.
But then somebody was saying the other day that there was this argument that it's toxic to ask a project to dox. And I was thinking, you know, why is that so toxic? They're asking me for money. I'm asking them to tell me why. That's all. Like, they're asking me for money. Isn't that toxic? And more toxic than saying, give me money, please. You don't know who I am, but trust me. Like, I am your African friend, you know, I will come and I am the king. And when I get to your country, I will give you $100,000 US. And it's like, bro, like,
that was
no.
so good.
Yeah, no, it's really weird. Like, to be honest with you, I don't understand why people like are supporting non-docs projects, to be honest with you. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, there's absolutely zero recourse for people running away in this thing. Like, you can't do like a chargeback or anything like that. You can't complain to PayPal, none of that stuff. And these guys are like, they're waiting on the fact that you can't do anything about it, right? So yeah, like, they should absolutely be dogs, especially if they're asking for money. To me, it doesn't really make any sense. Even more so with these projects that like have these like elaborate plans, and you don't really know if their team is actually real. Like, there's no face behind it, right? It takes 2 seconds to create a website and say like, this is how big the team is, whatever. It might be just one guy, like literally, right? And have all these like wishful thinking, like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, or whatever, gets all this money or whatever, and then once the actual work starts, people are like, oh, this is a lot of work, like, that I need to do, and I already have all this money, like, fuck it, I'm gonna just leave, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's an inherent, like, there's a bit of a laziness on both sides of these scenarios, right? There's the laziness of the people that don't really do the research. They want you to do it, and they want you to tell them, like, they're hoping that you've done that research for them, right? And then there's the side of like the actual projects themselves of like, oh, you mean I need to execute now? I need to actually sit down and like build out a business? Like, what? That's too much work. Bye. And then they just leave, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah,
Like, it's like a free attempt. Like, you couldn't just make a business and then like, oh, it doesn't work out, I'll just take like the money that the bank loaned me and leave. Like, that's not how businesses work. Like, if you fail, the bank's like, hey man, you signed this contract, I know where you live, I'm going to take your house, I'm going to take your stocks, and thank you for trying, but you suck at business. You know, that's how it is. But instead here, it's like, oh, well, you didn't say who you were, we have no way of finding that out. So I guess, you know, you win. Like,
Yep, you're free.
Yeah, I think that's why, like, I think there's some of it has to do with poor planning on like the actual like project itself as well, because these guys, they'll promise a bunch of things, and even if they got a bunch of money and then try to hire it, you're gonna quickly blow through these things. At the end of the day, these things, they're startups, and startups require capital to actually function. If you don't have any money, you're not gonna get anywhere, right? You need to pay for things. And what these guys are essentially doing and like realizing is that, like, oh, I might not even have enough money. Like, for example, the guy that I was looking for an artist, a 3D artist, for like 2 months, man. And I got quotes anywhere between like $30,000 to $100,000 to get the project up and running. Because it's not just about doing the product itself, it's then you need to market it, right? So, like, for example, for our project, we're doing the 3D stuff, and then I'm gonna go and make a trailer, because you still need to keep up the hype for people to be able to still like want to buy it and trade it and etc. Right? That's the whole thing. It's not just like a one-off thing and then you stop marketing it and all that's right, all right? So, and these things are expensive, man. Like, and it also ties into like how projects would price themselves, and how either the starting price of the mint or how you're dealing with like royalties. All these things like tie into like whether or not this is going to be like a pretty sustainable thing, right? It's one of the things that I really liked about I think it was the rocket class.
He's actually complimenting Boss Cat Rocket Club because they had the 50% royalty on that.
So And while people will be pissed off at this, you have to think about it from both ways, right? Like, one, it depends on what they set the mint price at, but looking at it from the perspective of a business, you need revenue coming in on a regular basis to pay for expenses that are there, right? The marketing, the hiring of people, right? If you do a drop of for an NFT project and it sells out, right? And you blow through that money. Now what? Oh, season 2. What does season 2 do? Nothing. There is no utility on it. Some of it sells out, some of it doesn't. We're out of money. Now what do we do? Season 3. It's just like, what? Like, it's not a well thought out business plan there, right? And which is why, like, when I heard of the way that the Rocket Cats or whatever, the way they did it, I was like, you know what, like, this genuinely, it makes sense in terms of for the actual business to run properly.
Yeah,
Is
but we could
you
turn it
need to be
all
able to-
around with season 4.
Pardon?
We could turn it all around with season 4.
Season 4.
That's
Right.
Season 4 is a banger. You know, it comes with metaverse integration.
Metaverse.
Yeah.
Like all this jargon and stuff. Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
crazy. So, yeah, which is probably why, like, we're probably leaning towards starting the mint price to be on the lower end, but having something where it will kind of like feed us in the long run to be able to actually build out a business. Because, like I said before, we're not doing season 2, season 3, season whatever, right? We're just doing a one-time thing. We're not, and yeah, like, try to bring as much value to the people, which is why we're starting with, like, hey, like, buy this 2D thing, and then you're gonna get a free 3D thing. And then usually 3D projects usually have a bit more value. So, for example, and we're still playing around with the pricing. So if we do like 50 ADA or whatever, right? And then you get a free 3D one, the 3D one should be more, it should be worth more than the 50 you put into it right off the bat, right? Like most projects. Do you guys agree with that? That's kind of like my
So I'm stuck because the thing is, and this is just my opinion, okay, is that okay, people don't know how to value things. Okay, you can see this as soon as a project launches, right? What the hell is the goddamn floor? Does anybody know? There's something that is super rare that will be listed for 300, and then there's absolute dog trash, gutter water, terrible stuff.
Stick figures.
You know, and you know, it just doesn't make any sense, right? People don't know how to value things. So then you have to wait for the market to shake out a little bit after a couple days to where it's like, oh shit, well, I have one that's kind of like that, and that one's looking at like 70 ADA, so I'm going to price it at 69. Let's let this thing roll. You know what I'm saying? But on top of that, so people don't know how to value things. So if you give somebody something for free, they know that it comes with little to no cost, okay? Number one, to them. And number two, they know that they can just offload it. And the person that they offload it knows that they're buying something that was free. So then it devalues it a little bit. So the way that I look at airdrops is that although everybody thinks like, oh, I'm going to get a crank off this one, like, bro, 100%. And although it is straight ADA to you, right? It you know, you didn't have to pay anything essentially to get it. It's devalued because people don't know how to value the product. People don't know how to.
Yeah,
If you were to sit there and if you were to airdrop something and say, okay, by the way, you know, with this specific airdrop, you'll be able to unlock this special like one-time like bonus of liquidity pairings, right? Or something like that, right? Or an exclusive liquidity pairing, right? That only they can access with this specific token, right? And have it baked into the contract. I think that would help people evaluate the value of it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, that's where a lot of like the utility is going to come from, but the hard part too is making people understand what that utility is, right? Like right now, for example, it's very new. Some of the concepts that I'm telling even you guys, right? These are new concepts to you guys, right? You need to understand what bonding is. Like, wait, if I get this NFT, it allows you to get a higher discount on bonding. What's bonding? Now I need to explain that to them, right? And like there's like more. It becomes really like involved in whatnot. So and hopefully people are able to value those things. So yeah, like, and also I think it's a way to kind of unlock more value to the first people that supported the project, right? So that's kind of like the thinking behind doing, and it's going to act like it's going to act like a key as well, right? Like it's going to allow you to get into the whitelist for the YSPO, all these other things, right? Like be the first miners, be the first DAO members, etc., etc. And that's for both of them. Like once we transition, it's a transition, right? We're starting with a 2D one, then they're going to get a 3D one. It's going to be the 3D one that's going to be unlocking all these other things too, right? Like the first part of it was to kind of like be able to raise some funding or whatever to just market the crap out of the ISPO, and then making sure that those first initial people are actually whitelisted and they get into the pools, right? Because like pools, they fill up or whatnot. So yeah, that's kind of the thinking behind it, and just try to give as much value back to the people that first supported. So that's why we're doing an airdrop. And I haven't seen any project. I don't, like, you guys are super into like CNFTs. I haven't seen a project do a free 3D giveaway at all. Is that
Well, Voyage is actually doing a PFP airdrop to all their planet holders, and I do believe it will be 3D, but do not quote me.
Yeah,
And it's made by Bajewski, the I don't know if you know him, but he's a really cool artist. And but their price for the planets was 100 ADA, I believe. It was pretty expensive. So, you know, with a higher price for some of these NFTs, they have enough funds to do some other cool things to actually make the NFT's value worth that. Or at least that's how I saw it. Like, I know a lot of people went into that mint thinking like, oh, that's really expensive for one NFT. Like, why would I do that? And it's like, well, we told you that you'd get whitelist and that you'd get resources airdropped to you every month and that this other thing would happen. Like, you know, like there was already a lot. And then on top of that, they surprised us with, oh, also there's going to be like sister attributes. So where if you have a planet next to your other planet, you get double the resources. And then on top of that, there's also going to be this PFP airdrop. So now it's like, okay, now you can start seeing the value. But during the mint, people didn't really see the value fully. And you know, it's
that's interesting to know. Then that means you need to be able to like put that front and center for the like in the documentation of like wherever the mint's taking place, and then just be like, these are the things that you get, these are the benefits that you're gonna essentially get from this, right?
Right.
So,
like it's interesting to me because like if I was the project owner, or at least just like if you're trying to speak strictly business, you would want to put that up front before the mint to try to get people to mint it. But at the same time, if you release it after mint, you develop a bunch of hype and the floor price is going to shoot up a little bit. So it's interesting with NFT business because it's kind of different from regular business.
I think if you're upfront with it, maybe you're more likely to get support for it. But then after, as you're delivering all the things that you say you are, that's when maybe more of that value accrues, right? Like you launch the DAO, you drop the trailer, you launch the DEX, etc., etc. The bonding mechanism is now working. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like step, and it's just like, oh shit, this thing actually has utility. You're seeing it, etc., etc. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think you're right. It's a weird balance of like you can surprise people, and then all of a sudden, like that little surprise allows people to like get a little bit more hyped because you didn't share that at the beginning. But then if you don't share enough, then people are like, oh, this is too expensive. Why am I doing that? Why am I supporting? You know what I mean? So it has to, like, yeah. And we're like, that was one of the things too that we wanted to do as well, is we wanted to do an airdrop to the NFT holders. But an airdrop of our tokens, for example, it can only really happen once they're actually backed, right? Like, so it can only happen, this type of thing can only really happen into the future when it's just like, okay, cool, we have 10 million ADA in the treasury or whatever, and we have 1 million circulating. Now let me grab 500,000 or whatever and airdrop it to those people because that's what I promised them or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's just like, but that can only happen once it's backed, or else it doesn't work. Like it makes like the way I'm doing it is fucking hard, man. Like this is way harder than just saying like, here's some free tokens, like go crazy or whatever, dump them, but like, you know what I mean? Like this is, yeah, it's very different the way I'm doing it. Hopefully it works, like, or else I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
So,
it's also interesting when Cleanup was saying like, when you do an airdrop or if you sell an NFT that's kind of cheap, then it means, it didn't cost much to make it, or at least that's the general consensus.
yeah, no,
But
this is costing me a lot of personal funds.
yeah,
I'm putting,
no,
yeah, I'm putting a bunch
I
of
was going to
into it.
actually make an argument for it because Cornucopias released their 2,600 test mint today for 15 ADA a piece for their trees. And these NFT trees, it's through a company called Veritree, where all the money gets thrown back into the corporation to plant trees in Africa to help, the forests and such. And those trees, I mean, I want one. Like I minted one, and the floor price I think now is like 130, and I got super lucky. I got a legendary one. Floor price on that was like 550 when I first checked, for 15 ADA, and I'm like, like I don't care what they minted at. There's only 2,600 of a cornucopias. This is like really brand kind of marketing at its finest. Like you see a pair of Yeezys, and you're just like, oh yeah, but you see like some Skechers maybe looking the same thing, but they got the Skechers logo. You're like, I ain't paying $50 for those. You know what I mean? So I think it's all brand marketing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think you're right about that. It's brand marketing. But most like this is still so early that new brands are going to be popping up all the time, right? So you're essentially trying to catch the growth of those brands, right? So it's a bit of a, you're trying to pick the winners essentially, right? And hopefully by doing the research and whatnot, you're picking the correct ones, right?
Yeah, it's also
So,
cool
because
looking at
you think about it, like on Ethereum, like crypto kitties, they were huge, right? Do you see the floor on that now? Like that project is essentially dead, right? The company that did that, they're essentially pivoted to NBA Top Shots, right? As their main thing. But they essentially abandoned CryptoKitties. Like people are still trading and whatnot, but it's not that brand. It was huge back in 2017, 18, and
Yeah.
now it's kind of crapping out now, right?
My kids like them. I mean, I had them breed a couple kittens, and that was really fun to watch
Yeah,
that
yeah,
happen. Very quirky, very fun thing. I think it is aimed at kids or whatever. But
yeah,
yeah, once you start producing billions of these things, that's when market saturation is like at an all-time
yeah,
high,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And plus, it gets expensive. And one evening, I spent like $300 worth of Ethereum to breed crypto kitties for my little daughter to rename them. And this is
Yeah.
Flu Foo Putty Puff or whatever. And I was just like, great, this is great. Here's another $60 in gas. Fuck you, Ethereum. So,
Yeah,
yeah, you know.
yeah.
But
I heard
yeah, no, I get it.
yeah. I think they're supposed to try to make a bigger game out of it, but I haven't really heard too much from the guys from Top Shot. I
Yeah.
don't remember the company
Yeah,
called.
I don't know because Top Shot used to be pretty big as well.
Mm.
And then all of
Yeah,
a sudden it was like, no, I don't think so.
yeah.
Not
So
anymore.
these brands, like they blow up, but also they sometimes they implode on themselves too a little bit. So yeah, it's
Well, yeah,
interesting.
it just depends. Well, because it's like, well, nobody has figured this out is that for some odd reason, and the minting process in general is this way. It's an RNG, right?
Mm.
People are addicted to it, right?
Yeah,
It's a vending machine, right? Or a lottery machine. You don't know what you're gonna get, right?
yeah,
So I think people, if they did that, right?
When they mint, you mean? Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
Like
right. When they mint, right?
Oh,
So
okay,
there's a mystery. So the whole time, like my ADA's sitting there on the blockchain, and I'm waiting to get my NFT back. I'm sitting there being like, oh shit, the endorphins are kicking in, the serotonin's kicking in. Like I'm mainlining,
Do you find that
drugs
people really
essentially.
like that? Like they like being
They do.
surprised?
They love it.
They love it.
The absolute boner from waiting for your NFT to see if you got an epic one is just, it's unmatched. Okay,
it is so awesome. I love it.
Bro,
and you don't want it.
When I was going for the tree today, I was like, oh my god, all right. So I finally got the tree to go through, and I was like, there's only 2,600. Like if I get a good one, man, I'm in the money, like big. Like I'm in the money big, you know. And I'm starting to like look at all the floors. I see that I got my NFT. I don't even want to look at the wallet yet. I'm like, I won't look at the wallet. I'm not doing it. I look at all the floor prices. I'm like, and I slowly open up my wallet. I scroll down like a little bit at a time, and I'm just like, like, oh dude, every time.
That's funny. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like I used to collect like Pogs or
Pogs. I know Pogs.
And like there were Marvel comic like trading cards essentially,
Trading cards, right?
Yeah, trading cards, and you don't know like, and there's literally a certain amount in the collection, and you open it up and you're like, fuck, I already got these ones or whatnot. It's kind of it's kind of like that, right?
It's exactly like that. So the first project, here you go, that can get some sort of licensing deal done for Cardano to open up like either baseball cards or basketball cards and produce like actually, and the pack has to open. That's the thing, because people want to be able to like swipe their finger down or to the right and have the pack open and then display the cards, right?
That be a 1x1 too. A 1x1 card.
That would be crack. That would be like crack in the 80s.
Is anyone doing that type of stuff?
Well, I don't know. Are you?
Wait, what?
Start doing it.
Boom. Like, does anyone actually do that?
No.
That would be a pretty interesting, actually, little service to create, like, as an API or something like that, like from NFT Maker or something like that. When you mint the stuff or whatnot, it has a little animation that, like, you do something and then this is what you got.
Right.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
I don't know if it worked that way with there was an old school project.
It was called Space Buds.
No.
You clicked mint
I
and
know
the rocket would take off.
That was cool.
Yeah, you're goddamn right it was. Anyway, go ahead.
But no, it was this project. They did cards and the Grandmasters. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Tavern.
It's not Tavern Squad. Get out of here.
No, it's like, not.
Cardano Tales or something like that, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
They're gold, right?
They had cards. I know that.
Drunken Dragon.
Yes.
Game,
right?
They had a tavern, but they're not Tavern Squad. Yeah.
But they're not Tavern Squad.
Yeah, okay. That was actually the very first thing I'd ever minted, and I was one pack of those Drunken Dragons. Now, the story I tell people is the first thing I ever minted was 10/11 Cardano Kids, because that was the first like real mint. The other one was like 5 to 10 ADA, and I was just like practicing to like see like what is this, I was like, oh, I'll throw away like $1 or $2, like let me see how this works.
Mine was high stakes, the really high stakes. That was my first ones.
How are they doing? Are they all right?
I don't know, but I got airdropped a baked potato. I'm happy. So it's a really, really high stakes, those stoner stakes, and then I got a really, really baked potato. I was like, what? This is great.
That's just cool. That was money, though.
This is the Voyage PFPs that they're coming out with, but this is by Bajewski. But I'm gonna show. I want to look up high stakes now that you say that.
Dude, not only that, look up high stakes.
I love high stakes.
Look up that project, that dark project that I was looking at.
Dude, another guy of mine, he showed me that project, and because he was like, hey, do you mind if I send you a few projects? And I was like, honestly, I need help like keeping up with all the projects, so if you want to send me like as many as you want, like please, and he sent me one of those, and I was like, dude, Cleanup just sent me this, like that's awesome. And you prefaced it with, I don't think this is gonna do well, maybe, but like I love it. You know, like it
Right.
but it's right up my alley. So I was like, okay, well, maybe the fact that somebody else has seen this means that maybe cleanup's wrong. Maybe it will be his thing and it does well, because I didn't know how many people would find it.
I'm really into dark art. That's just me. Okay. I don't sit here and, you know,
You gotta take a look
practice
at
dark
it.
arts in my spare time. These high stakes are pretty funny though.
Look at how high he is.
He's super high.
Snake. No, these are funny. I thought this art was funny, but I was just like, man, I don't think this is going anywhere as far as an
No, I
investment.
just bought like 2. They're like
Yeah.
perfect.
And
Yeah.
it's very hard. And us and Gianni, we talked about it, and you know, the main thing is it has to be a profile, right? It has to be a profile pic, which, you know, it follows the simple rules, right? And that don't really get messed with. There's a formula for profile pics. And that's the thing that's going to sell. As much as people bitch about them and like their ideals of like, oh, these animals are just getting crazy. It's like, it doesn't matter. The shit sells, right? It looks good on profile pics. It's literally all that matters. That is the only thing that matters, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, see, Deck of Dark Dreams just absolutely looks
thing is
amazing,
sick.
right? So that thing's gross.
It's terrifying, but it what is that show? Like,
Go down. Keep going down.
what's that show? Damn it, like American Horror Story. It's kind of like that a little bit.
Keep going. Keep going.
Oh yeah, the babysitter. That's
The
kind of
face
terrifying.
behind. Yeah, it's kind of fucking.
It took me a minute for the image to like process in my mind, like that's a face.
I didn't know that was the face. I was confused.
Yeah, that's why I left it here for a minute, because it took my mind a bit, and I was like, I wonder if anybody else is a little fucked up in the head.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
like that one.
This one's just cool. This one doesn't terrify me.
Yeah.
He's got some weird hair, but you know, he's not. Doesn't look like he's hurting anybody. This dude's getting his face blown off or something. Like, what the heck?
Well, it looks like something's about to chop his entire neck off there, and some blood is coming out already.
Yeah, I can't tell. It looks like a tie to me. This look like
tie. It's a tie.
Well, it is a tie. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just like his head's getting blown off from not a tie. I don't know.
Oh.
Or maybe it's like
That's
prototype. Y'all remember
Weird
prototype?
alien splurge.
He's evolving.
There's Sage.
Oh.
This one was my favorite.
It's definitely my favorite too.
I wonder why.
Teddy.
It's got some dope. Yeah, he's like, let's add some curves on there. Okay, just go straight cleavage.
Yeah. So
yeah, let's see what the roadmap's like.
It seems really cool. Like, you know, again, dark art is kind of like a thing that I like, if that's what you want to call it. But
Tender nightmares. 11 pieces.
Yeah.
100 limited edition artworks, including. Okay.
So each one is going to be relatively the same, right?
Wait, so 11 pieces, 100 limited edition
artworks, right?
So how many total? 100,
including legendary characters with an addition of 1. So 10 of each and 1 legendary, right? Character.
Yep.
So yeah, and we'll see. I mean, it's kind of. I don't think it's gonna. You know what I'm saying? It's niche.
It's too like small, I think, to have like a crazy high floor, because whoever gets there is, you know, is gonna have it. They're probably not gonna flip or sell. But
the people that are into this are kind of fucked up. I'm gonna be quite honest with you, which is right up my alley. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's pleasing to me. But you know what I'm saying? At the same time, I don't see, like, that one looks
that's
great.
Cool.
That one looks
Yo, this is an artificial halo. I've never thought of such a thing, but that is such a cool concept, to have an artificial halo.
Yeah. And so and that one's gross.
Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just a few pus balls around here.
that's
You
so
know.
gross. That's so gross.
You know those
But it's
people that have
cool.
like those popping fetishes. I bet
Yeah,
this would be right up
stop.
their alley.
Stop.
They just take a little pin. They just take a little pin and they just pop.
That's so bad. I can't. Oh, yeah.
That's so
Oh,
gross.
dude, that's gross. Oh my god,
Oh
so gross.
man.
you triggered us.
Pop, pop, pop.
You've triggered us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this shit-
these are cool though. These are
This
really
is right
cool.
up my alley, right? But I just don't think like, okay, yeah, mom, cool. Look at this. Like, welcome to CNFTs. You know what I'm saying? Like, she won't accept that more than she would accept like a Boss Cat Rocket Club
Yeah.
profile pic, right? Or anything else. They just won't understand it, right? And I think, oh, you looking up equine?
Bro, I look up equine so often. How are we at a 300 floor equine and ADA's at 50 cents? Bro, who is not buying equine? Like at this price? I'm not financial advice. Obviously, I say it every single time we get on the podcast nearly though, that I think equine is undervalued. And I'm just going to keep shouting it until these things are like 1 million ADA. And then I'll be like, all right, well, this is
It is. It is. I mean, last time I talked to
is this fully working now? Their actual project for the racing, is it working fully?
So Faha, when I last spoke with them, right now they are mostly testing the breeding mechanics right now. They've been slowly releasing alpha, but just the way he works is he won't talk about it until it's ready. So for them, they're very meticulous in how they're building it. So right now, there's nothing right now. What it seems like, but like deep down, I know him. He's working like a shit ton of stuff in the background.
That's 130 total stat on a floor price $299.
Oh, let me get. Whoa,
Bro.
Interesting.
it's gonna keep going down. It's gonna be a steal.
You think it's going to keep going down?
As the whole market starts to even out, there's some more low key stuff that might change the things.
You know, because I've been thinking about that, and I know a lot of people have been saying like, "Oh yeah, NFTs are going down in value, stocks are going down in value, crypto's going down in value." I agree, 99% of that, but Cardano NFTs aren't really. In all honesty, they're really not.
I don't know why CNFTs aren't. That's the ironic, funny part. CNFTs are kind of like, they're like, some are pumping, some are just kind of like staying flat.
Right. Like the only one we really saw, which is why I thought it was crazy to bring up Boss Cats, because Boss Cats are the only ones that really are kind of going through that bear market. Now, Boss Cats went through a crazy bull run though, so it's not to shit on Boss Cats at all. It's just the fact that they did so well so quick that this is bound to happen. That's how things happen in the crypto market. You look at cryptos and the ones that are slow builders, they have their moments of craziness, but for the most part, they go slow. But many cryptos just go crazy and then crash back down. And that's kind of what we're seeing with Boss Cats.
I always nerd out on their fucking marketing for the Boss Cat Rocket Club. They spent 2 months putting ads on NFT counter websites, and all they said is, "Trust me, bro, I own a Bored Ape Yacht Club." It's like, I am not the founder of BYC, but I am a member of BAYC, and you should just trust us and buy some Boss Cat Rocket Club. And I was like, damn, and that fucking sold it, and that's what pumped it. And I was like, wow. Because he was a member.
Well, but it was also cheap, right? It was 20, right?
20.
And then essentially the marketing was, a floor sweeping mechanism, right? Where it was like, hey, we're going to sweep the floor and nobody sell underneath there. And as a community, they agreed, right? And then supposedly there was shit going on with ghost wallets, like whatever, ghost trading, wash trading, the whole 9 yards, just to keep the market inflated or whatever. From what I'm hearing, at the same time, people needed to hold multiple cats in different wallets, and they had to spread out the wallets all throughout the place. That way they could get these rocket parts, right? And so I don't know what's true, what's not true, whatever.
1,700 for a rocket part.
There was a bit of controversy with these guys. Like, I didn't quite follow the entire story. What happened with them?
Yeah, nobody could. Like, everybody was trying to get Detective Gumshoe this shit, and nothing came of it. It was like the members had a plausible explanation for it all. It was and these were members of the community, and the members of the community actually showed. They were
What
like,
was it?
they said, we set up multiple wallets to send, different boss cats to or whatever. And the reason why we do this is because we want to increase our chances of getting these rocket parts and parcels of land. And the more wallets that you own holding one boss cat, instead of one wallet holding 10, it's better if you hold it 10 boss cats in separate wallets. And so they would split them out to other wallets, other things like that. And, I guess people were trying to call them out on it and this, that, and the other. And it worked for a minute, but then they were too big to freaking fail, essentially. Like, they were just producing mass amounts of content and they were hitting. Bro, they were hitting. You couldn't even mess with them. They were doing such a good job that it's just like, well, shit, now they're blue chip. And I don't even care what anybody says. Like,
yep, they
bro,
got real estate, they got rocket parts, they got metaverse.
They got it, and they have the funding for it.
Well, you know what's crazy is they did cats, rocket parts, real estate, and Vox, and the same time that Clay, partnered with Snoop and came out with land.
Damn, it's so crazy. They just came in, like swept house, like, hey, what's up? You guys are new to NFTs, I see. So here's how you do it.
Yeah. And like, that's a surefire way to just like blast the hell off, which is what they did. But, it's really hard to keep that train going, like you're going to need to keep one-upping yourself each time. And eventually you're going to run out of ideas, or you're going to need, something to start like proving ideas. Like the real estate is cool, but you
didn't
can't
run out of ideas. They went to Mad Dog Club.
Yeah, which I minted 10 of. But hey, I got no problem doing it. I like the Mad Dogs. I'm holding them. But it's like you're gonna have to come to a point where you start proving the concept is working. You're gonna have to start showing some demos of the real estate. You're gonna have to start showing some demos of like your figures walking around, or like some of the things that you're doing, which I think they've showed a little bit of, more so than
they've showed it more. Pavia
more so than Pavia.
Something.
Yeah,
Pavia released something today. It was like a 10-second.
More than Pavia, that's a meme.
It was a 10-second demo, right, of this dude starting off walking, and there's like bushes being built in as the screen progresses, right? And then all of a sudden you see those new Povs or whatever the hell they are. They're your little sideline creature that you're going to run with, your companion creature that you're going to be able to.
Things like those, I'm not a huge fan of their design. They look a little bit weird.
Where are they?
Yeah,
little Povs. Yeah, you're going to be running around with that pig.
What is this?
Bro, I got airdrop one of these bitches, and I was like, let's go.
Just burn it. Just burn it.
I got it. Look, man, I don't know what's gonna happen with the project. All right, I'm not here to make a couple hundred ADA. All right, I'm here for the long term. I wanna be able to retire before I'm 70. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm holding this thing, and I'm praying to God Pavia does some cool ass shit, and this thing is worth enough to retire before I'm 70.
I hope so too. But like, to be fair, Boss Cats have shown more than Pavia. Pavia's made hand over fist in ADA. And they have fucking nothing. They don't have anything.
So much money. Oh my God.
So much money. It's like, bro, give me half that. Let's see what we can do. Yeah. Well, we're building a metaverse. Well, you got these little piglets with the 3D glasses. They're fucking cool, don't they? No, dude, they don't actually. And your little plot of
Some of
land
them look
sucks
cool.
ass.
Some of them look
No,
cool.
They
man,
got-
what is this shit?
They got
It's a
the
fucking
flattest-
box.
I like
It's
the
a
box.
cardboard box.
Don't shit on the
It's a
box.
cardboard box.
The box is good. I like the box.
I think the box is cool. You know, some of them are cool. You
yeah,
know?
those are pretty cool.
Some of
But
them are
You know
cool.
what?
I got the sad boy. This is me. I got the little sad boy.
yeah, it's
You know?
it's like a little narwhal or something.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Dude, future bots look better than these fucking things, right? And they actually have use.
Oh, I bought the future box or future bots box, the whatever they're called. But
the random mystery box. See,
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. Martin, did we not talk about this earlier? Somebody needs to come up with a random generator, right? That's constant crack. Do it. You're smart, right? Have somebody do it. God damn it, guys. $1 million idea. Let's go.
$1 million idea right there.
All you have to do is find some licensing, something. I don't know, around the way, or I don't know, bypass some system, get some lawyers. I don't know.
lawyers.
But find something, right? That's popular. Maybe it's no, not too many stupid people are in Cardano, so it wouldn't be NASCAR. But maybe it's like ex football players or like whatever, legendary heroes or something. I don't know. But like, dude, and just make it into a card game, like to where these things have rarity or whatever. And
I remember when these plots of land was selling for like 20K.
look at those. Look how ugly those goddamn things
bro,
are. Look at them.
Spots were at 900 ADA like 3 months ago, like
That's-
3 to 4 months ago.
Can you show that little trailer? I want to see this. I haven't seen the.
Go to Twitter.
It's so tiring trying to keep up with all the new developments now, man. Like that are happening on Cardano.
Yeah, that's why I have Nick. He shows me almost everything.
I try. This week's video was full of a few rug pulls actually, and I didn't even know about
Oh shit! I forgot about. I did not know. There's so many rug pulls.
Which rug pulls were there?
Ada Farms was a rug pull that I was told anyways, but didn't really shock me after the video came out. Somebody was like, "Hey, this is some information on Ada Farms," and I was like, "Oh, well, that's not enough information for me to be able to like scream from the rooftops this is a rug pull and like crap on the project." But I do see some like valid concerns. So like I was just like, well, you know, this isn't enough, so I can't really do that. But dude, it's such a tough spot because if I do that and then it's not, and it's like, then you're an asshole. And it's like, then if I do it and I save some people, then like I'm a hero. Like I'm not trying to play this freaking game, man. I'm just covering projects. I don't know. But then there was what was the other project? I don't know if it was actually a rug pull, but they said Greenland's metaverse used Google images to dox their team. So they took somebody else's pictures and put it on their team to say that this is their team, and they got called out. And yeah, and I covered both of those. So
that's definitely one of the concerning things as well. And this is why another way to like really do your research is find these people and hopefully they're getting interviewed. Like right now, you guys see my face and you see it moving live because. Yeah, like on Ethereum, there were some projects that went a step further because if you really want to hide that, you can do like a reverse. You can do an image search, right? But the way to like hide that is to use one of these computer generated like AI. What is it called? Deep fakes that will make a face that looks super real. And it's completely a fake person that has never been created before. And you can make these in a very short period of time. And on Ethereum, there was already a case where the whole team was fake.
Hell yeah.
And they raised a bunch of money or whatever. And they looked so real, man. And you couldn't find that face before because it was a newborn face made by a robot. An algorithm, which is insane, right? Which is crazy,
Bro,
crazy.
That shocks me that there's even an algorithm that could pop out a human that hasn't been made before, right? Like there's so many human beings.
Crazy. Yeah,
that is
crazy,
insane.
Crazy. But yeah, the way to get around that is to be like, hey, where are some interviews that you guys have done? Like you guys are showing your face, but you haven't done any interviews. Like what? That's a bit weird, right?
Show them the Pavia video. Go to
Yeah.
Twitter and show the Pavia
Let's
video.
let's see what they did with all their money.
No, that's not it. There
Is
it
this it?
is. Yep. Look how he just started walking right there.
Oh,
That's a nice little hat, I think.
he's got a good
or
little
whatever.
strut going. You know what I'm saying?
Look at him. He's in a graveyard.
This is all they made.
This is it.
Hey,
Here's okay. So this is
to be
actually not
fair,
like
it's not
okay.
bad.
I don't like being like negative about projects. Projects are
No,
really
it
hard.
just takes
but
little to no work.
Considering the fact that you guys have said that they've raised a shit ton of money, you can get all of these assets.
Free Unity assets right here.
Yeah, like those are all easy to get on Unity and
Right.
create a world with someone that's like walking around. I can make that like in a day. Like that's how much work is involved in that.
Look at those bushes like fucking pop in like that. What the hell? They couldn't
Popping
fix
it.
this.
Watch the right side. Pop in, pop in, pop in.
Yeah,
They
hopefully,
couldn't fix that.
I don't
Oh,
mind
that's
the
hilarious.
background trees popping in, but when you have like the close trees, you know, I shouldn't be doing that. But it's obviously very early. You know, I really don't want to just crap on a project over and over again. Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah,
Random,
maybe
Sorry. I am sorry.
Random saying Pavia is supposed to be
I am
updating their
sorry.
whole UI, so that's cool. That's cool to hear. Also, what's up, Random? What's up, homie?
Yeah, like maybe their actual development of the actual world itself is like much bigger than what they've currently shown now. Particularly like maybe like these whole metaverse plays are really hard technically to create. Like having a ton of people, like more than 60 people on a server where everything is like changing and doing like that's really hard. That's why when you go into video games, there's only like a maximum amount of people inside of that game or whatever, right? Like Fortnite, etc. There's a reason why there isn't like 1,000 people all trying to shoot each other, right? It's what's the max at? Like I haven't played these games in a while.
It's 100 for Fortnite.
So yeah, so there's a reason that it's like that. And it's not like 1,000, because 1,000 to get 1,000 people all connected and all like interacting really smoothly, it's really hard. And this is why sometimes I'm a little bit skeptical about like this whole metaverse play for these companies that are a little bit smaller, and why sometimes I think that the big metaverse, like the people that might succeed, unfortunately might be the Facebooks, because they're going to have the engineering capacity and the infrastructure to actually be like, boom, there's 10,000 people in this room right now. So that's one thing that I'm kind of a little bit I guess afraid of people that are saying like we're going to be doing a metaverse play, blah blah blah, when at the end maybe what they really mean is like, hey, we're going to be in Facebook's metaverse.
Yeah.
And these are some things that you'll be able to do, because the problem is massive. It's huge. Like it's hard.
Yeah. The thing that worries me is, you know, it's not even about the money really, because like if I owned Pavia, right, let's say, and Pavia is like the best one, right, and I've been there since day one, and I'm looking at all the updates, and it's year 2, year 3, year 4, and like now we're getting there, right? And then Facebook's just like, surprise, motherfucker, you know, and it's just like, boom, it just drops it. And then it's like, you know, Pavia tanks, Facebook goes crazy, and it's just like, bruh.
Yeah.
I've been here for 5 years, you know, like I would lose my shit. A part of me would be like, you don't deserve this. Like you already got enough money. Like go back to where you came from. You know what I mean? Like
that's they got there for a reason, right? And they have this expendable income, right? Facebook does. Pavia, I guess, does, but they ain't got Facebook money. You know what I'm saying?
they don't. You know,
They don't even have like.
But they would have more of a community within the ecosystem that we're in, though, than Facebook would.
One would think, but the problem is that one of the number one toys that was bought this last Christmas was a VR headset, the Quest 2, which is owned by Meta, Facebook, right? So they don't have to use Facebook, right? And in fact, that's why they got away from Facebook, is because it's almost like a rebranding. They want to be the Meta, which is going to service, I would imagine they're going to have TV service soon. their own Wi-Fi, almost hooking up with like Starlink. It's going to be more than just social media platforms for Facebook, dude.
So what you're saying is buy the dip.
I mean, yeah, but if you look at it, like people shit on Facebook's metaverse, though. They did. Like they were trolling the entire time because it wasn't done right. There was no protection as far as like touching other people and offending other people, and now it's just kind of been.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Like because people, when you're anonymous on the internet, like people are dicks to each other, right? Like, and now you have this thing where I can run around and just scream whatever, and like you don't actually know who this person is or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I've read a bunch of articles saying like how it's actually gonna be awful, and also like somewhat boring. They're saying that when you're in these metaverses, if people aren't really interacting, like it can be actually really boring. It's just people kind of like standing around. And for example, like in World of Warcraft, you would have these like AI things that you can at least like talk to. So they're saying that like this is gonna probably have to be a thing because when you're in these metaverse things and people are not really interacting all that much, even though they're all in there, they're just kind of like standing around looking around.
Oh, no doubt.
I mean,
like there's going to be AI. Like if you look at it, what Tesla's doing now with AI, right, is crazy, and I mean, they're all going to try to profit some way. You know what I mean?
To me, I don't think it's going to be boring. It would be like going into a voice chat alone. Like you're a dumbass for doing that. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to go into the metaverse, you're going to pick a buddy or you're going to like wait for your friend to get online.
No, you go solo.
Well,
solo
or you might solo
chat.
queue. You might solo queue. You know what I'm saying? but like, if you're going in expecting like, I don't know, you're going to have to go to areas and the whole world's not going to be a mall where you're bumping into people left and right. Like there's going to be a dull area here. Then you're going to go over to the cornucopia section and, maybe it's a portal and you get teleported into Cornucopias's world. And like, there's a reason to be there, to do the daily task, to earn the daily copy, to sell your daily copy, to get your new house, to get your new garage, your new whatever. And then once you get your new whatever, then you're going to have to go do the mission with your bubble jet. Like there's reasons to be there. But like, if you're just going to create a metaverse and try to treat it like a mall or treat it like a hangout spot, like it's not going to happen often unless there's like one metaverse that you go to and that's where you hang out and you chill. But like, there's not going to be, in my opinion, like just multiple networks. Well, I mean, it could be, honestly, we don't really know, but there has to be a reason, at least at first, for people to join and do it. Like if there's Cornucopias and I have to do my daily tasks for Cornucopias and that takes X amount of time, during that time, I'm not going to be in meta. And then if there's also another game that's play to earn, that's going to take my time, there's probably going to be like 2 to 3 games that I cycle through. Oh shit. He was like, I'm done with this talk. No, he'll be back, I'm sure. But I just think there's going to be too many reasons to play in a lot of these play to earn games because you're going to get money and it's going to be a video game. So why would you play a video game without earning money? And, so there's reasons to play. Being in the metaverse, being in like a, I don't know, mall type situation, there has to be a reason to be there. So maybe if you enter that mall and welcome back.
I think to me, it feels like it's going to be more like a general like place, like a mall, and then there's going to be different, essentially rooms where people can play games. I think this is mostly going to be game like based, like when you think about it, because other than just like getting into a room and maybe like kind of doing what we're doing now, chatting or whatnot, that might be another use for it, or like setting up deals like, hey, I'm going to sell a real house, meet me at blah 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 in the metaverse. You know what I mean? Stuff like that maybe. But I think the big interactions between people are going to be it's going to be like games. I think it's the big
we're gonna do Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh right? Dude, I would be so freaking down. Like oh my, I love Yu-Gi-Oh.
Pot of Greed.
Yes, which they banned.
I'm playing Pot of Greed.
Exodia.
Yeah.
But dude, I could also see like if you did, because they're already doing this for shoes, and so my mind only goes to shoes. Shout out Cypherkicks. You know, if you have, let's say you go into the metaverse Facebook, and in that store is like the Adidas shoe store, and on this day, if you go there at a certain time and you stand in line just like a real shoe store, then you can be in line to get like these exclusive shoes. You know, people are gonna do it. So that could be a use case.
I mean,
To get to hire workers to work the store, you know, monitor lines. To get to hire VR workers.
Well, right.
100%.
So that was the thing. So like when we were building our VR space, right, for the Lucky Lizards and this, that, and the other, right? So the big thing was, and I think you were there, Vic, right? So,
Oh yeah.
you know, I was speaking about that, which kind of went weird, to say the least. Like, I think, you know, what happened was the original talks was I was going to have to take moderators from Discord or whatever it was. And that's exactly what it would be. You are correct. As much as you laugh, like that's what it would have to be. People who moderate the space, and they would have to be paid, right? Now, how you work it is it's put into the system of the sales, right? So what they do is they just click on a specific shoe or whatever it is, and it takes them to a landing page to where they choose the shoe, the size, or whatever it may be, and they execute, right? And that's relatively easy to do, because you can already do that in VR space, right? So that's a definite plausibility. You know, my big thing is like, well, having private shows, right? Like have an artist do a private show, either
Shout outs Future Fest.
Right. Have them do a, you know, which they got Cascade on there, which was great. You know, Cascade was like huge for me back in like 2006, you know, or whatever, which was a long time ago. But man, like he did this Sexy Back remix, which was awesome. You know, I still like it to this day. But I think you know, it's going to be wild, some of the things that you'll be able to do. But the problem is like, it's just so far off, right? Like, okay, so with Pavia, right? Like, we don't even know what their land really looks like. Is that correct?
Wasn't that it in the demo?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah. That might even be your land that you bought. They're sitting on it. They're running around already on it.
I don't want to live in no graveyard, all right? Me and my povs are not going to be in a graveyard, okay?
Yeah, they showed like you maybe picking up your POV. That's kind of like what it looked like. It looked like your POV was like in that little. So it looked like a quest, right? Like at the end of the quest, you like arrive and there's your POV, and then you're just like, you know, and then you know maybe cut screen back into the real Pavia world. I don't know though. I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know if it's going to like. I mean, I guess it's just completely up to them. They could definitely do cutscenes where, you know, that's a cutscene.
Yeah. So we don't know what to expect. So with Clays, the cool thing about Clays that I saw was like, they're actually putting in work as far as like their city planning. Like they have, I want to say, if not some sort of city director, engineer, or something to make sure that things are adequately spaced to where they can build future things for it and make it like actually fit and actually workable, right? So building roads, you know, they're having a full like railway, I guess you would say, to run around the island.
Are they doing like a store, like setting up stores within it? Like,
yeah, there's activity centers, right? And so there's one for like games, like the caravan area. You know, there's all different sorts of stuff that Clays are doing, right? And they're gonna pull off something crazy, and I think it's gonna be great. I think Atlanick hit the nail on the head. I feel like if there was a project that I could really 100% get behind and think like, okay, 100% trust this project.
Oh, they're gonna do it.
Clays, right?
100%.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I actually, whoops. I want to bring up their map real quick because I want to flex my area.
Don't be a dick about it. All right.
Damn.
You gotta flex my area, right?
What's them coordinates, baby?
So right here is my plot of land.
Well, you got waterfront?
Yeah, and a
Oh
large,
my
and a
God.
large, and it's in Sonic.
Oh wow.
Hot real estate.
Wow.
How much
What's
is,
the
how much is that
floor?
going for?
I have no idea what this is going for. I don't even know what to price it at. I'm just holding it, and I'm happy I got it. I have no idea what people are gonna pay for it.
What's the floor size of floor of larges?
Right now, I think it's 1,700.
That's cheaper than a claymate.
Yeah, size large, and we can do zone Sonic. Oh, 1,600. Somebody's paper handing right now. That's
Oh,
a
wow.
drastic difference.
See, this
That's
is
145 difference.
Go to the underworld, which is because
For
of
large?
dark art, right? Dark art. This is why what I would be into.
Expensive.
Yeah,
How many
1,200.
how many owners of
3,500. Well, combined with like all the pitches and the clays and their decks of cards and all the other drops, I mean, maybe like 7,000, 8,000 total, maybe,
Of what?
of like all the clay assets combined, maybe
Or
8,000
7,000,
holders.
8,000?
I think maybe in that range
Wait, of what?
of like all of the clay assets combined.
like owners?
Like
how many
owners.
owners are there
yeah.
across
how
all
many
these-
wallets are in there? Nobody
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah.
It's literally impossible.
So this is one of those things that is like a little bit like, because these owners from here could be the exact same owners of the clays, right? So really,
Exactly.
it's
Well, a
not
lot
really
of them,
the same amount, right?
are because that's
Right,
how
a
it
lot
worked.
of them are.
That's how it worked. Like if you
Which
if you
means-
held the clays, then you were eligible at least for
Yeah.
your Underworld or Sonic Village. The Bake Nations were at a random, and a lot of the public actually got Bake Nation. So
Yeah.
some of the
So the
public
whole-
that own no clays got these, and then also multiple people created multiple wallets. So how many
Yeah,
people?
but we
I don't
don't
know.
we don't want to be with the non-clay holders.
I mean, they
There's
can
no-
paper hand to me if they want.
Yeah, no. But yeah, the underworld always kind of tickled my fancy. I'm kind of like wondering what's going on with that.
Yeah, so this is the interesting part of this, right? Is like, hopefully these guys get like scale. They need a ton of users, not specifically like a ton of people owning the land, because there's only so many parcels, whatever. But you want the actual players, I guess, if this is a game, or you want users, and this is what will determine whether or not these things are going to really have value, right? Because if you don't have no one going into your world, then you bought that parcel of land and it's useless. It's like buying a chunk of land in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Well, so why doesn't somebody, right, create like almost like a Minecraft sort of deal, right, and invite 100 people in, and they literally own the entire land, right, and
I
you
have a
can
plot of
mine
land.
resources and all this other shit, right? I don't know, because there's not going to be 32,000 people on at once, and if there is, I don't want to live in that world. Like, that's weird.
If there's what?
32,000 people on all at once or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I played a lot of RuneScape. I like seeing players.
Yeah, but RuneScape's completely
So-
different than Clean Nation World, okay?
Yeah.
So like to compare this, right? Since their release in 2011, Minecraft has amassed 141 million active players worldwide.
Right.
And at some point, Microsoft bought them for $4 billion, right? What's the
Right.
market cap? Like, what's the entire value of Clay Nation right now?
$4 billion.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. Nobody
I was
knows.
like,
It can't be
what?
$1 billion. Get out of here.
That's what I was saying. I don't know how you know. I don't know how you find that out.
No, nobody knows.
I guess you would grab all the floors, I guess, like, and see what people are trying to
Right.
sell. Like,
I
but-
don't understand Minecraft. I don't
or
get
on it.
why people like Minecraft.
I didn't
right?
get it either, but I do.
But you can create a 3D printer on there that 3D print some goddamn green guys to creepers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can
you
create
can do
a
a
3D
lot.
printer in
You do a
there.
lot with that game. And Well, so we've talked about this before, actually, and that was exactly how we started. We started with, I don't know why Minecraft is played. We, like you were saying, I don't know why people play this, right? There's like no point to it. And that was kind of the same point as RuneScape. And, I played a lot of RuneScape, but I had the same mentality when I got into Minecraft. I was like, why do people play Minecraft? There's nothing to do. Like, this is stupid, But then I found a group of people, just like before. I'm not going to go into a voice chat with myself. I'm not going to play Minecraft by myself either. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to hop in with some friends. I'm going to build my shit, and I'm going to be like, yo, check out my shit. Isn't it cool? Isn't it cool?
Yeah. I feel that. But what are we going to do in Clay Nation? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what we're going to do in Pavia. Nobody knows what we're going to do.
Well, there's definitely at least going to be concerts.
Yeah, and this is, I think, an important point of this as well is what's the average age of people within these things right now? Because when you think about it, like Minecraft is for little kids. Like it's mostly little kids, right? I'm sure there's some adults in there that are building like a cottage or building a house or whatever, but the core audience are little kids. And right now, all of these things, like right now, the target audience is people that have money, right? You want people that are going to be able to spend this to buy these plots or whatever. But at some point, they need to switch their marketing to like, okay, we need users, we need players, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be hard to market to kids though, since there's a lot of money involved. So I don't know if you'll be able to do that.
And that's one of the things that we saw. I don't know how much you guys follow Axie Infinity,
right?
But Axie Infinity, like it cost more than buying like 2 PlayStations to play that game because you needed like $1,400 to have a somewhat of a good,
to get a workable product, right?
To get a workable, like you need 3 of those creatures, right?
Right.
And on average, they're expensive. It's like $1,400 just so I can play a game. And at the end of the day, those people that bought those were adults and they didn't actually want to play the game, which is why they farmed it out to like the Philippines, Vietnam. And that's how you got all these like these scholars or whatever going, because it was a bunch of adults that I don't really want to play this game. I just want to be able to flip this thing and make some more money off of it. But eventually you actually need legitimate users, which is why now they've changed their business model, right? Now they're going to be giving away some of these Axie creatures for free, essentially as a starters, because you want people that can afford it, the $300, $400 each. Now they're getting it. They have a ground floor to get in, right? So, but at the end of the day, all these things are great, but they're gonna need users, and that's gonna be the real test on whether or not these things really take off, I guess, right?
Who we had on the other podcast Monday, what was his name again? I don't want to mispronounce it.
Gianda,
and he was talking about how you really need like minimum at least 5,000 NFTs to hit like peak audience, right? And I was kind of thinking about that. I've been thinking more and more on that. And when you say 141 million people play Minecraft, and that's how the game got bigger and bigger, more and more successful, how do you do that with an asset that you want to increase in value? Like I guess you would let them in the metaverse somehow, but then it's not exclusive, so that devalues the asset a little bit. But maybe you don't give them all of the benefits or something, but we would have to get them to also pay something to enter the metaverse to try to increase value.
You could do that, or you could do marketing, right? And have ads. Not ads, you know what I mean? But like maybe there's
please,
a
no
poster.
ads.
Maybe
No
there's
ads.
maybe there's
I think
a poster.
this is where slowly, I think that this is where slowly the metaverse might turn into like a bit ugly in terms of it's going to turn into like a rent seeking thing, where if you want to go into this game, you will have done a really good job at the marketing and attracted 100 million people that always go through this portal to get to another game. And then now I need to pay whoever's running this metaverse thing money to be able to be put in front of these people so they know that my game exists, and hopefully they go through that door into this game. So there's going to be somebody that is going to be really good at getting actual users. So
Right.
right now people are hoping to build these things, and hopefully they're the ones that are, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, like you're right. And either they have to put in some sort of model where you have to pay to get in, almost kind of like an amusement park, right? Like you have an amusement park or whatever, you have a day pass or some crap like that, or like a year pass. You pay $20 for the year or whatever to go and be able to play a game, and then maybe you have to pay the rent to whoever, like the network, that protocol, whatever, right? Cornucopia or whoever. Or you have to pay to Atlanick because he bought the best chunk of land and
He just
Damn
got
right.
waterfront property.
opens
Damn
the
right.
door to get into the best game. Or he rents it out or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it would be something like that.
Hey,
I
where's
own
the
this plot of land
floor?
too, baby.
Probably why.
I
where's
think this plot
probably
of land is
why-
probably worth a decent amount.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
this
know,
is
though.
probably why. If you guys, I'm not sure if you heard of it, but Facebook announced that their fees inside of their metaverse, their meta world or whatever it's going to be called, it's 50%. So if you're a seller and you want to sell stuff inside of their ecosystem, they will take right off the bat 50% of your revenue, like right off the bat, which is insane, right? People complain about developers complain about paying Apple 30% to be on the App Store. Every sale you make, 30%, boom, goes right away to Apple. These guys are going to charge 50%, which is insane.
Wow, 50%.
That's huge,
Bro,
man.
who's gonna do that? You
I think
already
people are
had
gonna do that because they might have what we're essentially talking about, right? They're gonna have the users, the people that are gonna be willing to spend money on in your little game world or whatever it is that you're doing inside of them, right? So, but yeah, like it's fun cool to start these metaverse projects, but you need the users, and
The
I think this
biggest-
is where Facebook might have a
the-
really big upper hand.
The biggest thing is we have to disconnect, and you have to stop thinking about Meta as Facebook. It is not. Like Meta is a rebrand. It is going to be way more than just social media, right? Like I was saying before. That's not. I mean, dude, they own Instagram.
Yeah, this is gonna be there. Once
They
this
own
takes off, it's gonna be plastered everywhere. Everyone's gonna know, like you can go into our metaverse.
Right, metaverse, and the thing is like it's not you don't own a Facebook profile to be able to get onto this thing. It's completely separate. Like metaverse starts with its own thing, right? If you have a Facebook, sure, you can log in and connect your profile and be 100% connected. Who really cares? But this thing can be marketed to kids. It can be marketed to adults. You know, there can be an adult only room. There can be a thing like Rec Room, right? So they're acquiring Rec Room, the last I heard, right? And
Oh, are they? I didn't hear about that.
if you look at Rec Room, it is an upper scale kind of Roblox style first person game.
Oh,
Okay,
Right.
I've never seen. Can you bring that up?
Rec Room?
See. Yeah.
It's REC, like recreational room.
damn.
REC.
He thought it
We'll
was
cut
like
that out. Cut that
Hey,
out.
I'm not gonna lie. Where my mind went was one of those rooms that you can go and destroy stuff to get like stress out. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's where my mind went.
or being in
Minis.
crypto and
Let's get you some
All right, so it's Rec Room.
stress.
There you go.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you see,
so
and
God.
there's a reason, and there's a specific reason that these guys have chosen, and I don't know if you guys noticed that with Meta as well, like their little example of the graphics that they use, and these
Right.
graphics. The reason why is because this is going to be more likely to be able to scale to have 10,000 people in a room versus what Pavia did, which is it's pretty detailed, like the trees and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff happening there, and there's a reason why these trees in Meta, like when you look at them, it was just like half of a sphere is like the top of a tree. If you guys notice that,
Right.
it's super, and it was just pure green, and
Yeah.
that's specifically done. It's because graphics are going to be. It's going to be really hard to render all these things with a shit ton of people going.
But you can play
inside there.
games. There's like capture the flag, laser tag, pool. There's all sorts of games, right?
Yeah,
And Mr. Beast has
Mr.
been
Beast.
right. It's
yeah.
like
This is a big deal. Yeah. This is
Oh
pretty cool.
damn! So this is like a little party in VR
I'm telling you right
party
now,
game.
my kids, they liked Minecraft, and people are always gonna love Minecraft, but I'm telling you, Roblox is killing it. This game is killing it, right?
Damn.
And when my kid gets on VR or my kid gets on Xbox, because it's not just like Oculus, right? It's on Xbox, it's on PlayStation, it's on, I want to say, mobile.
So Facebook bought this. Damn.
And well,
That's huge.
they're either looking at
look,
acquiring
yeah.
it fully or integrating it into Meta. And so
Damn.
I think
That's pretty fun.
yeah, I think and you own your own dorm room, right? Plot of land, right, is your dorm room. You can fashion it with highlights and medals and this, that, and the other, and people can visit you in there. You can play basketball, the whole 9 yards, dude. It's pretty cool, you know. And I could see this be marketing to kids, right? Because originally Minecraft was like basically giving a kid a box of Legos, right? The world is their oyster. They'll create a bunch of dumb shit and just be like, look, he created this. Do you look at it?
Yeah.
And they love it, right? And it kept them busy. This is the next form of that, because now kids' minds don't work like Minecraft anymore, man. They don't. They need constant Coco Melon bullshit, like that, essentially.
Yeah, this is
Flipping around the room. That's
oh
kids.
my god.
That's their mind. So
Did
you
you
know what
know
I'm
if you
saying?
place a dresser on the left-hand side and then a bulletin board in the front, your character will spin out? It's like, yeah, man, let's do it.
That's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
So it's the future, right? It's for adults, it's about how do you keep your children busy to where you can get either extra work done, clean the house, you know, have them not.
Whoa, hey, what was this?
Whoa.
Hey, this is the type of game I'm looking for.
Hey, no.
What just happened there?
Mommy, no. Oh, did you guys hear? Okay, I don't want this to be censored by YouTube, but Kim K's son
I heard
found
about that.
a tape while playing Roblox.
Wait,
Yeah, he got targeted with an ad or some shit like that.
oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
Terrible. Don't ever do that, right?
Yeah.
To a child.
obviously
Ever.
very
But not
messed up.
financial advice, or whatever people say. Don't do that. But
Yeah.
dude, that is
It's crazy because like
imagine seeing that. You know?
Well, it was a start of
Yeah.
her career though, right? Like that's what blew her up. And what's
Well,
interesting
some
too is that it was
people
her,
you know,
it was
you
Kim
know what I'm
Kardashian's
saying, Vic?
mom.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, Vic? Hey, but yeah, you know, this was before she was just like a Hollywood girl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, for sure. But yeah,
Ray
like
J put her on the map
You sure did.
with that leak.
dude,
And I
her
was-
mom. No, that's not a leak. Her mom, it's fully out there. They talk about it on the show, on their show, Kim Kardashian, whatever. Her mom had to was involved with planning that whole thing out.
Well, yeah. No, I'm saying leak.
Oh, like
They got some
Yeah.
high quality music production, high quality audio production. It was playing.
yeah.
some jazz music in the background.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Jazz
yeah,
music.
watch it. Oh, shit.
and so anyway, you know, and then all of a sudden they had, I don't know what the hell happened. They had their own show. I guess they came out with makeup and stuff, but I couldn't imagine, man, that being like that, you know. Kanye West is your dad.
Yeah,
but
it's the way to
it's weird.
No, I'm playing. I'm playing.
Oh my god. You're trying to get kicked off YouTube. Look at this.
YouTube's got to sort through almost 3 hours of footage. I think you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably not though. YouTube's got that algo.
Yeah.
Algorithm to search through 3 hours of footage. I think you're
Bogus.
fine.
Yeah, you know nobody else is gonna do it.
Dude, I hate to cut this short. I do have to work.
We should definitely cut the short. Almost 3 hours.
Yeah, bro.
What?
We're going forever.
At 4 o'clock. Dude,
Oh,
this has been
what's
on
going
a
on
while.
with you guys?
But man, I'm hurting right now because I have to wake up in 4 hours.
Oh my,
Oh.
yeah. We started late too, and we went for the longest podcast we've ever done. I think this is the longest.
Why did we go so long?
Because I love you.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. This was a legendary podcast.
Yeah, we had a long one Monday too. I don't know. We've just been having good conversations.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do appreciate everybody for coming on. It was definitely really long. Martin, thank you so much for explaining to us dumb people exactly how stuff works.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me. And if you want to do this again, man, like we could do a DeFi like education, blah blah blah, and like
That'd be
get people's
down.
questions and stuff like that. Because I find people really want to be involved with this, but they don't quite grasp what they're getting into, and I think it's really important for them to actually understand what they're getting into. For one, like for their own education, and also to make sure that they don't get scammed, right? There's a lot of jargon, a lot of like concepts,
Right.
And we want to make it accessible to as many people as possible. So if you want,
Yeah,
something like that too, man.
you could be the DeFi specialist.
Hell
How about
yeah.
that? You guys just we got DeFi questions. We'll hit you up. Every time. So
Yeah, anybody watching the video that's not live, we will have all of their socials in the description below. Go check out Vic with the Hidden Order. Go check out Martin with Sweetdao. And yeah, I appreciate everybody for stopping by. Go check out Cleanup as well, dude. His project is so underrated. Oh my god, those raptors, sexy motherfuckers. Just saying.
Yeah.
But remember, guys, thank you so much. If any of this content helped you, please give me a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And remember to get outside, see your family, see your friends. We're here to make more money so we can spend more time with them. Till next time, guys, peace.